in this, he's got 10 strikeouts. Looking up, it is gone.
Check swing, did he go? No.
I don't know if he went or not.
That ball is history. A 3-run Jimmy Jet.
It definitely had a big impact on the game.
Now we're down to, we got to fight our way back.
It's our turn to return the favor.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Caught!
Home run, Evan Longoria.
It took a while to show up, but this team has some magic.
We took 2 at their place. We took 2 here.
I mean, there's no explanation for it. I still want to believe that there is a home field advantage.
I'm going to go out there with guns blazing.
Cliff is he's a warrior.
I'm competitive. That goes under warrior, and I guess I'm that. This is what it's all about.
I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Welcome to St. Petersburg, Florida, and Tropicana Field, where the Rays fans are revved and ready. The American League Division Series coverage on TBS is presented by BlackBerry. The Rangers won the first 2, then the Rays won the next 2. The road team's winning all the games, and now it's Game 5 between the Texas Rangers and the Tampa Bay Rays. Hi, everybody. I'm Don Orsillo, joined by Buck Martinez, and joining us for Game 5 of the series is Ron Darling. And this is a great pitching matchup here tonight and a rematch from Game number 1. And Ron, for Cliff Lee, just trying to repeat what he did in Game 1.
Well, this is why he was acquired. He was acquired to pitch in these kinds of ball games. He was outstanding in Game 1. He had the bases loaded, a little hiccup in the first inning, but after that, well, he was Cliff Lee. No walks in 7 innings of work with 10 strikeouts. But he's been even better in the postseason. Last year, pitching for the Phillies, he was able to beat the New York Yankees in an elimination game, and they need him to be perfect tonight in this Game 5.
On the other side, David Price very disappointed by his first outing. The good news is, Buck, he gets a second chance in Game 5.
Boy, he sure does, Don, and he's happy for this opportunity. He's never beaten the Rangers in 5 career starts, including Game 1. 9 hits in 6 2/3. If David Price doesn't locate his fastball better and give the curveball and changeup in the mix, he's really going to have trouble again tonight against this fastball hitting ball club. But as far as the big stage, David Price can handle it. He got a 4-out save in Game 7 of the ALCS against the Boston Red Sox, standing on the mound for the final out to push his team to the World Series. During that outing, Evan Longoria, the third baseman, came to the mound in the 9th inning and said, "David, you were born for this moment. The Rays truly believe they have the right guy on the mound tonight."
Both these teams have superstars who are banged up at the end of the year. Evan Longoria and Josh Hamilton, and so far it's been Evan Longoria who's had the better of it.
Well, he sure has. Both players coming back after missing games late in the season. Longoria's made the quicker adjustment. 3 extra base hits of the 4 hits he's gotten. Hamilton still a little impatient, showing signs of missing 24 games in September. Hamilton has to be much more patient. He knows that if he gets a fastball, he can do damage, but so far he has to be a little more selective.
We played 4 games. One of these teams goes home. One of these teams goes to the ALCS. It's Game 5, and it's next on TBS.
The MLB Division Series coverage on TBS is presented by BlackBerry and brought to you in part by Bank of America, official bank of Major League Baseball, by BMW, experience joy for yourself in the ultimate driving machine, and by Chili's $20 dinner for 2.
Welcome inside Tropicana Field, the Trop in St. Petersburg, Florida, for Game 5 of this American League Division Series. American League Division Series coverage on TBS is brought to you by HD by BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Well, the Rays fans are revved and ready. They wondered if the Rays would come back to Tropicana Field for Game 5, and they did, winning the 2 games they had to from Arlington, and here they are with a chance to move on to the ALCS. Let's check out the visiting Texas Rangers starting 9. Elvis Andrus at the top of the order, as he has been for the series at shortstop. Former batting champion Michael Young at third base. This year's batting champion at center field, Josh Hamilton. The DH in a bounce back year, Vladimir Guerrero. Left fielder is Nelson Cruz, with Ian Kinsler, who's hit 2 home runs in the series, batting 6th. Jeff Francoeur, who's not started since the first game, starts the 5th game. Benji Molina, 4 out of 5 starts for him, does the catching, he bats 8th. And at first base, Mitch Moreland rounds out the starting 9. This Texas Rangers squad has to deal with David Price for the 2nd time in the series, as the tall left-hander looking to bounce back after a tough first outing in Game 1.
Yeah, he struggled in that first game. #1 in winning percentage this season, 3rd in ERA, and in this building, the Trop, 17-5 for his career.
Behind David Price, great speed in the outfield. Crawford, Upton, and Zobrist, and Carl Crawford is the best left fielder in the American League without question. Gold gloves at the corners. Evan Longoria, Carlos Pena, good double play combination up the middle. Jason Bartlett, Sean Rodriguez, and Kelly Shopik is back behind the plate after John Jaso caught in games 3 and 4.
Ron Washington, well, I'll tell you what, if he was playing in this game, you'd feel good about the Rangers winning this game, because he's about as fired up gets.
We had our meeting with him, and he was about 4 inches off the ground speaking with us.
Yeah, he was ready to play, and I'm sure his players feel the same way.
Elvis Andrus to get it started. He's had a very good ALDS so far at 316, 265 during the regular season. Again, it has been about the road teams in this series. The Rangers came in here and shut down the Rays in the first 2. We went to Arlington, where the Rays won both of those to force this. And here we go. First pitch from David Price is up high, ball 1. And we're underway in Game 5. Elvis Andrus had no home runs during the regular season, and generally the guy who sets the table for the Rangers. As he takes a strike over the outside corner, and it's a ball and a strike.
As we saw in Game 1, both these starters struggled in the first inning to get control of the strike zone and their emotions, and they both escaped stranding base runners.
Cliff Lee has the track record, though, of being able to do that over a longer period of time. Price is trying to prove that.
Set a Tampa Bay franchise record with 19 wins during the regular season, as and this is up top at 95. And it's 2-1 to Elvis Andrus.
See the pitch selection in Game 1. A lot of fastballs, almost 80% fastballs. He needs to improve on the secondary pitches.
Andrus lines it down the right field line. This would be a fair ball. Quickly is Zobrist to play it, and quickly getting it back in, holding Andrus to a single. Nice play by Zobrist to get over there quickly, but Andrus is on to begin things in the first.
During this playoff series, baseball has changed the rules involving the catwalk. The A ring, the smallest ring in the ballpark, it's all in fair territory. If it strikes that, it's a dead ball, no play. Same for the B ring in fair territory. If it strikes the B ring in fair territory, it's a dead ball. Foul balls on the B ring, they are dead and out of play. They don't count.
Extremely unusual to have a change in ground rules before the postseason. And that's exactly what took place here. You can call it the Jason Kubel rule if you would like, but it went against the Rays during the regular season. And as we've talked about in the series, this was a move that had to be made, a right decision to make the change in the ground rules.
Interesting, though, if Kubel's ball had not dropped and been caught, if they would have changed the rules.
Standing in is Michael Young, who takes strike 1 from David Price. Young, who hit .284 during the regular season with 21 home runs, a .188 postseason, 1 home run, 3 runs batted in. And he's one of the guys they hope to get going in this Game 5.
You don't need many hits in the postseason. You just need big hits.
There goes Andrus at first, and it's grounded foul by Michael Young. Both of these teams will run. Neither has really had the chance to do very much. Of course, the Rays leading for the last 3 years in stolen bases in the American League. And Ron Washington says he's every bit as aggressive as the Rays are, if he can be. And they got Andrus on here in the first inning.
Both of these clubs want to score first to support their starting pitchers.
Andrews 2 for 3 and stolen base attempts in the series.
Price does not have a great move to first, but he has a pretty good slide step to the plate.
The 0-2 pitch, a swing and a foul as Young stays alive.
One thing we have seen throughout this series from Texas is that they will grind out at bats. Even when they get 2 strikes, they are really tough. They'll shorten up. They try to put the ball in play. When they were most effective in games 1 and 2, they stayed to the big part of the field, straight away and opposite field.
Andrews peeking in as Price readies with the 0-2 pitch. He has loaded up here with Andrews at first, and Young backs out.
2 different philosophies of hitting. You have the Tampa Bay team that takes a lot of pitches, and the Texas team that fouls off a lot of pitches, very aggressive.
Watch Andrews' eyes. He's going to look in and see the catcher where he's set up and whether he might be able to run. Great base stealers, and you go back to Maury Wills or Ricky Henderson and guys that had big leads. Tommy Harper for the Red Sox, they all had big leads. They could get out far enough so they could maybe steal the sign from the catcher, but more importantly, can see location. Look at him looking in at Chapek, seeing if he can steal the sign.
No check on first, and Andrews back to the bag.
The sign he's looking for is a breaking ball. A breaking ball's got a chance to be in the dirt. Plus, it's slower than the fastball getting to the plate. A much better pitch to run on.
And the sign he got was the flip with the thumb, which tells the pitcher throw to first base.
Andrews has led off this first inning with a single. Young's been waiting a while for a pitch. It's the 0-2, and it's outside as Chapek hops up in a hurry and looks Andrews back to the bag at first.
Buck, the biggest deterrent to stolen bases is when you throw 97 miles an hour to the plate.
Yeah, it gets there very quickly. Plus, you stay ahead in the count. You don't give the base runner that many pitches.
Andrews with that big lead at first base as Young will take the pitch inside. And the count evens at 2-2. Well, David Price, of course, the starter for the American League in the 2010 All-Star game. He threw 2 scoreless innings in that game. 9-2 here at the Trop this season during the regular season. An ERA under 2, 1.96 ERA at home. As Mike DeMuro, first base umpire, in conversation there with Andrews. Two balls, 2 strikes to Michael Young with Andrews at first base. And Price steps off again.
This is the beauty of a base stealer. He becomes a distraction for David Price, and it's really dangerous when you have a powerful lineup like the Rangers.
Young fouls it back to the screen at 96. One thing Price did do in game 1 was throw a lot of pitches in the first, 24 pitches in the first inning. I'd like to stay away from doing that again here in his second opportunity of the postseason.
But you can see with the step off of Price, the asking of questions from the umpire, from Andrews, how important every single pitch is, especially in this first.
Young with a swing and a miss. Price strikes him out. A lengthy at bat, but it's K number 1 for Price. 1 down.
They mentioned the catwalks. There are 4 catwalks in the stadium. The lower catwalks, C and D. If a batted ball strikes either of those catwalks in fair territory, it's ruled a home run. Once again, if it strikes in foul territory, it's a dead ball, foul ball, no play.
1 out, 1 on, and here is Josh Hamilton to stand in on the left side as a soft toss to first. We asked Ron Washington about the health of Josh Hamilton. Has he gone backwards? Because the series has not been a good one for Hamilton. He's just 2 for 14. Says it hasn't gotten any worse. He just hasn't had much to hit, and that has been the case. The Rays have stayed away from him primarily with soft stuff. He's not seen a lot of fastballs as he takes ball 1 from Price.
And that's the timing issue. He missed 24 games in September. He's always been a much better hitter at night, but I think it's just a timing issue, and that's why he's having trouble with the breaking ball. Plus, the Rays haven't given him any fastballs to hit.
They really haven't made any mistakes against him yet as Price deals with a strike. With 96, and it's 1-1.
You can sometimes work off some rust in the middle of August. Pretty tough to do it here in the first couple of weeks of October.
Yeah, you've been sitting now for 3 weeks, and let's see if you can catch up to David Price.
Hamilton, the batting champion during the regular season, finishing the year at .359 during the regular season, and that's missing the last month as that misses away, and it is now 2-1. David Price did not allow a home run to a left-handed hitter all season and has allowed just 1 home run to a left-hander in his career, as Chase Utley took him deep last year. And the numbers from 2010 against lefties. There goes Andrus at first, a swing and a miss, and a foul tip into the catcher's mitt. And a stolen base actually for Andrus, as Shopik tried to sell it.
Yeah, it's a foul tip. Shopik holds on to it. It's another breaking ball. You can see him bobble it. You got to be a quick thinker to drop that ball. You get the foul tip, you drop it, he goes back to first.
So Andrus at second base with 1 down. The theft. Hamilton waiting on a 2-2. It's outside, ball 3.
Well, just what you talked about in the opening, Buck. He is really trying to mix in his secondary pitches even in the first inning.
He has to do that. This is a fastball hitting ball club, and when they got in trouble in the first 2 games, they threw fastballs in fastball counts. Even if it's 96, big league hitters and talented one like the Rangers to catch up to it.
Andrus takes off for third as Hamilton grounds 1 to first base. Haney's got it. He'll flip to the pitcher. Andrus going to try and score, and he will. Just kept on going as Price with his back to the plate, and the Rangers with their aggressive base running strike first.
This was the last piece of the puzzle for Ron Washington. The base running. Now he feels they can win a baseball game anyway. Watch Andrus break here. The left-handed pitcher Price is covering, and he's going to have his back to the play. Andrus just keeps running, watching Price, and the hesitation from Price allows Andrus to score. But to his credit, Andrus never anticipated stopping. He was going to run until Price stopped him, and he didn't.
So the Rangers strike first as Vladimir Guerrero now stands in and hits one high in the air out to right center field. B.J. Upton back towards the track and shy of it to make the catch that ends the inning. The Rangers get a run in the first. The Rays are coming up from the Trop in St. Pete. Back at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, the Rangers get a run in the first inning and lead it 1-0 as the Rays come to bat in the last of the first inning. Jason Bartlett leading it off, the shortstop. Ben Zobrist is in right field. Speedy Carl Crawford likely in his last year with the Rays in left, with Evan Longoria at third base. Carlos Pena at first base, with B.J. Upton in center. Dan Johnson getting the start as the DH, bats 7th. Kelly Shopik does the catching, he bats 8th. And Sean Rodriguez rounds out the starting 9 for the Tampa Bay Rays, as they trail 1-0 heading to this bottom of the first inning and have to deal again with Cliff Lee.
We talked before about Evan Longoria coming over to David Price and saying, you're born for this moment. Well, Michael Young has said that Cliff Lee is a warrior in this moment, and proven by his postseason stats.
He is 5-0 with a 1.52 earned run average in 6 career postseason starts. Here are the numbers during the regular season with both Seattle and Texas.
18 walks, 18, and 185 strikeouts.
Bartlett to right and in for a base hit, and a good start for the Rays in the bottom of the first inning.
Cliff Lee works so quickly, he really keeps the defense engaged. This is the best throwing outfield in the American League. Cruz, Hamilton, and Jeff Francoeur, who won a Gold Glove in '07. Michael Young at third base, his second season at third. Elvis Andrus and Ian Kinsler up the middle. And Mitch Moreland gets to start at first. The Gold Glover, Benji Molina behind the plate as he was in game one for Cliff Lee.
Lead runner on for the Rays in the bottom of the first inning. And here's the very versatile Ben Zobrist. He's got a home run in this series. Shows bunt, pulls back, and takes ball one.
Joe Madden will bunt any time to move runners along, and they have proven that. Zobrist has bunted in the first inning when he was batting third. So they will play bunt, they will play hit and run, they will do anything to advance the runner.
Mitch Moreland not coming in from first, very aggressive with Young, and don't forget Cliff Lee, an outstanding fielding pitcher.
Well, the Rays, who won 47 games away from Tropicana Field, the pattern continued as they went into Arlington and took those 2 games. Their backs to the walls already twice in this series, and here they are in game 5, back home again. There goes Bartlett, and the bunt is dropped down foul.
Joe Madden will do a lot of old-fashioned things on the baseball field. Bunt and run, hit and run, straight bunt. He will suicide squeeze. He will also safety squeeze. And this was a run and bunt, if you will. Bartlett breaks, and Zobrist is trying to push it towards second base and fouled it.
Well, we see the technique here. You got to get that bat in fair territory to get that ball in fair territory. Trying to bunt that to Moreland, who didn't really move off first base.
Zobrist gets the arms out of the way and takes ball 2. Tough to be much better than Cliff Lee was in his first go around here in game 1. It was exactly what the Rangers needed at the time. He got plenty of offensive support as well. Some wondered if Ron Washington should come back with him earlier in the series. Bunt bid again, and on a hop it is picked by Moreland. And this will turn into 1 out. The bunt bid, and it's 1 hop. They'll apply the tag. And out will be Bartlett. As reaching at first to be Zobrist. 1 hopped into Mitch Moreland's glove, the first baseman.
Moreland made a great play here in game 2 when he dove over in front of the dugout. So you take a pop-up off the bat of B.J. Upton. Here it is a short hop. The home plate umpire Jeff Kellogg calls it. You can see it hit off the artificial surface, bounce into Moreland's glove, and Zobrist by then has nowhere to go. He is really hung up because the ball bounces. He couldn't tell if it was caught in the air or not.
Well, Jeff Kellogg, the home plate umpire, out to make the call there. He had the best view with it in front of him. As a runner at first and 1 down, and a toss to first as Zobrist back to the bag. Crawford hitting at 176 during this postseason with a home run and a run batted in. Gets straightened up with a pitch inside.
So far, little nerves even with the undefeated in postseason Cliff Lee. Don't usually see him throw lead-off hitters with balls.
This one flared foul off to left, out of play.
Lee, like Price in game 1, threw 24 pitches in that first inning, and you can see how well he has pitched in the postseason. For his career, a 1.52 ERA. Among the list, some great pitchers. Sandy Koufax, the great left-hander, with an ERA under 1 for his postseason career.
Well, Lee in that first outing threw first pitch strikes to 21 of 27 batters as he gets Crawford to go around. And it's a ball and 2 strikes to Carl Crawford. And think about Cliff Lee too. He's not allowed an extra base hit to a left-handed batter in this postseason career in 51 at bats as he deals with left-handed hitting Carl Crawford right here. And it's in again. 2-2 to Crawford. No doubt Carl Crawford will be one of the most sought-after free agents this offseason after spending the first 9 seasons of his career with the Tampa Bay Rays. On the ground right side to Kinsler. A good as second for one. No chance with Crawford running at first. They get the lead runner for out number 2 of the inning.
Carl Crawford rarely hits into a double play because first and foremost he's a left-handed hitter with explosive speed. As soon as he pulled that ball on the ground, he buried his head and took off for first. Andrews obviously no interest in making the throw to first.
You see a lot of young shortstops, though, that will throw that ball to first. Nice play there by Elvis.
Carl Crawford grounded into 2 double plays during the regular season. He is at first with 2 down here in the first inning, and Evan Longoria, after a tough couple of games here in St. Petersburg, really turned it around in Arlington. Much better games 3 and 4. As he pops one up, foul ground as Mitch Moreland goes as far as he can towards the seats, and he'll make the play, reaching into the photographer's well to make the grab. That will end the inning. The Rays lead Crawford at first, done with 1. It's 1-0 Texas in Game 5. What a difference a day makes in the headlines, whether you're in Texas or in Florida. Back and forth they go as part of this roller coaster series. And I guess the only question is, what'll be the headline tomorrow?
Ron Washington certainly showing no reason to panic, and he continued to have confidence in his team. And like Don mentioned, he was some kind of pumped up before the start of the game.
It's his second inning, and Ron Washington headed home with a chance to, at the time, grab their victory and wrap up the series in Arlington. And again, keep in mind the Texas Rangers have never won a postseason series. And here they are, forced to a Game 5 after winning the first 2 games in Joe Maddon's building. And 0-1 missing to the leadoff hitter for the Rangers, Nelson Cruz, here in the second inning. Ian Kinsler and Jeff Francoeur to follow. Cruz has had a very good ALDS with 3 home runs. As Price jumps ahead here, 1-2.
That was the slow curveball for a strike, and that's a key pitch for Price. He's got to get the Rangers off his fastball. You do that by getting the curve for a strike.
Buck, already it looks like a much different approach this time around for David Price.
And it seems like his heartbeat is a little lower than it was in that first game, where he really was rushing his mechanics. The ball was up in the strike zone. Pitching tonight.
2-2 misses, ball 3, full count.
I think it had a lot to do with watching Matt Garza pitch in Game 3. Garza is without question the most animated, emotional pitcher in their staff, and Garza controlled his emotions perfectly.
Cruz strikes out, can't believe it. Got the high strike call from Jeff Kellogg. Second K for Price. And Cruz got to be careful here as he continues his conversation with Jeff Kellogg.
See the pitch here from Price. I think what Cruz is arguing, so you see on pitch tracks, real close to the strike zone, but Nelson had not called any of those pitches strikes in that at bat. Finally on the 3-2 he did.
From the side you can see that it looked like it was within the boundaries of the strike zone on the upper limits.
Ian Kinsler.
He didn't like that pitch either. Same pitch inside.
Kinsler 2 home runs so far in the ALDS. 3 RBIs and 5 for 14. He's done his share. Second baseman for the Rangers. Bats out of the number 6 spot for Texas. 98 that time from Price and in tight.
Yeah, it's an easy 98 too. And it looks to be 104 when he gets the slow curveball over in an at bat.
Kinsler made 2 different stints to the DL this year. Right ankle sprain and a strained left groin. Played in a career low 103 games during the regular season. So he takes strike 2.
Second time this inning we've seen Price get that slow curveball over.
Line into center field and a base hit for Ian Kinsler. Second hit for the Rangers and a one-out single here for Ian Kinsler. Well, with more on the skipper, the Texas Rangers, Ron Washington. Here's Mark Fine.
Yeah, Don, you know, you guys talked about how pumped up he was. I think I found out why. He was ambushed a little bit, walked into Clint Hurdle's hitters meeting, and the guys turned it into an impromptu pep rally. They started firing up their manager. He said each and every guy spoke. When they were done, Washington said he felt like he had to speak, so he pumped them up, and you know he was pumped up when we talked to him, pounding the desk saying, I feel good about my team, guys.
All right, Mark, thank you very much. 1 out, 1 on as Jeff Francoeur stands in, and it's gathered by Shopping on a pitch in the dirt. I mean, everybody's excited about a Game 5, but he took it to a new level in our meeting today.
I have been involved in Game 5s before, and Wash was right there. He could have played this afternoon. He could have started this game tonight.
I think he wanted to play.
Well, he did. During batting practice, he was taking grounders, throwing to first base. He was ready to go.
Kinsler with his lead at first. 1 down in the inning and a 1-0 to Francoeur, who takes a strike over the outside corner.
Young Price learned his lesson against Francoeur on the first pitch. In the first game, he gave up that double to center field on a first pitch fastball. He countered, even though with a ball, with a breaking pitch first pitch tonight.
Francoeur has been great with the Rangers in 15 games since he came over from the Mets on August 31st for Joaquin Arias. On the ground towards shortstop. Bartlett will try to start it to second for 1, on to first for 2. It's inning ending. We're through an inning and a half from the Trop in Game 5. It's Texas 1, Tampa Bay 0. Catch all the action of the 2010 Major League Baseball postseason on TBS and Fox. We roll along to inning number 2 in the bottom half of, as the Texas Rangers enjoy a 1-0 advantage over the Tampa Bay Rays. And it'll be 5, 6, and 7 for the Rays. Pena, Upton, and Johnson to deal with Cliff Lee. Took him 12 pitches to get through the first inning. And it's Pena, whose batting average tipping under 200 during the regular season at 196. He was 0 for 3 with 3 Ks against Lee in Game 1, sat in Game 2, and then bounced back in a big way in Games 3 and 4 in Arlington. And here he is getting another start, another chance to face Cliff Lee as he takes ball 1.
Buck, it was interesting to listen to everyone talk about why he hit under 200 this year. There was talk by Madden about the defensive strategies have really hindered Carlos.
The sophistication of defense has really been a problem. Pena hits into that shift all the time. It's discouraging to look up from that batter's box and see all the defenders clustered on the right side of the field. Only Michael Young, the third baseman, on the left side of the infield. And he can hit a ball hard right into right field, and the second baseman Ian Kinsler in shallow right can throw him out at first.
One is outside, and it's 2-1. He's batted in 5 different spots in the lineup for Joe Maddon. It's interesting that he's moved him around so much, and I think, Buck, one of the moves that they made to drop him down really helped him out in Games 3 and 4, and they brought him back to his normal spot in the middle of the order for Game 4.
Yeah, Derek Shelton will talk a lot with Joe Maddon about where he should put his hitters. And in Game 3, Pena dropped down to the 7th spot. Historically, he only hit .208 in the 7th spot, but he had 5 homers and 10 RBIs. And he was very productive. Plus, that got him the confidence to hit well in the 5th spot. Now he's moved up into the 6th spot behind Pena. So it's a constant flux. Madden used 131 different lineups this year.
He fouls it off and hangs tough at 2-2 after the 93-mile-an-hour fastball.
I asked Derek Shelton, how do you beat Cliff Lee? He said, you pitch good.
Pena takes ball 3. Full count. We saw him be a little bit more patient in Arlington also.
When you begin to have success and get some hits, it makes you realize you don't have to hit everything. You only have to hit strikes.
But sometimes you have to throw that out the window when you're facing Cliff Lee. The hitter's DNA in the AL East is to take a lot of pitches. Can't always do that against Lee.
Swing and a miss. Off balance swing for Pena. He strikes out. It's the first K for Cliff Lee.
Lee's starting to zero in on his command. He throws this cut fastball right on the outside corner with about 6 inches of movement.
Just gives the appearance that it's going to be down the middle, and this changes lanes late to fool Pena.
So Pena strikes out. It's the 4th time that he struck out against Lee in the series. He's out number 1 of the 2nd inning, and here's B.J. Upton. Upton takes ball 1 from Lee. Upton this year setting a career high with 154 games played. Career high in runs, hit just 237 during the regular season, but had 18 home runs and 62 runs batted in.
I think B.J. Upton had one of the key at-bats in this series when he got the green light on a 3-0 pitch, 4th inning. Took a good hack, fouled it back, and then got a 3-1 fastball and doubled to drive in a run.
Upton pops it up. First baseman Mitch Moreland in fair ground. Puts it away for out number 2. So a strikeout and a pop out. 2 down here in the 2nd inning, and Dan Johnson making his way to the plate. Well, Cliff Lee was 8-3 with Seattle this season with a 2.34 ERA. Went to Texas, was 4-6 with the Rangers with a 3.98 earned run average. But his postseason number is off the charts, as we talked about earlier. 5-0 with a 1.52 earned run average in 6 career postseason starts. And here's a look at the breakdown for you in August and in September for Lee.
He had a bad back and didn't disclose it for a while.
Johnson fooled with a swing and a miss.
That's why his numbers in August were so bad, but once he addressed it, got healthy, had an injection, everything ironed itself out.
In there for a strike, and it's Bengie Molina, who's caught more starts for him than any other catcher since he's joined the Rangers. Now 11 of his 17 starts, including the postseason, and it's Bengie Molina again here tonight in Game 5 of the series, as it was in Game 1. Johnson hits a pop up to the left side. Andrus is there to make the grab, and it's an easy 1-2-3 second for Cliff Lee. We're through 2. It's 1-0 Texas. Aerial coverage is provided by Goodyear. When the road throws you a curve, get there on Goodyear Innovation. Outside Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida, where the Rays call home and drop the first 2 games of the series, won the next 2 in Arlington. And here we are for game number 5, and it's the 3rd inning with the Texas Rangers on top 1-0. And a snappy 2nd inning for Cliff Lee as he retired the side in order. A strikeout, 2 pop-outs. And it's on to the 3rd as David Price deals with the veteran Bengie Molina and Mitch Moreland and Elvis Andrus here in the 3rd inning. Molina, who has a home run in this ALDS and 2 runs batted in.
Went 2 for 3 against David Price in Game 1. And homered in the 4th inning to left field.
On the ground up the middle, and by the dive of Bartlett into center field, Molina will be aboard. 2nd time in 3 innings the Rangers have had the lead runner on. This time it's Bengie Molina.
Well, just a fastball, but up again by Price. Something we saw in the first game, Buck.
Yeah, Benji Molina is a good up hitter. He likes the fastball up. Didn't really scorch this ball, but gets it through the infield into center. He had 2 hits to right field, both fastballs that were up out over the plate. He's a much better high ball hitter than a low ball hitter.
So Price back to the stretch with Molina at first base and Mitch Moreland standing in. It was Jorge Cantu who started the first game of this series up against David Price. This time it's Mitch Moreland. The change made by Washington as the pitch in there for strike over the inside corner.
The Rangers used 6 different first basemen this year. Justin Smoak, the young prospect, played the most there, but he was dealt to Seattle in the Cliff Lee deal. Moreland did most of the playing at first, second half of the season.
It's just 200 against left-handed pitching, Mitch Moreland. And all 9 of his home runs against right-handed pitching. Swings at the 1-1 and fouls it back. 95 on the gas from Price, and it's 1-2.
I think when managers sit around contemplating a possible lineup, they look at what has happened recently. Moreland's had good at bats. He doesn't chase a lot of bad pitches, even though his numbers for the season aren't that impressive. Washington liked what he saw from Moreland.
Swing and a miss. Fastball at 97. It was up, and it's a 3rd K for Price. 1 down in the 3rd inning.
Well, once he gets 2 strikes on you, he just has so many weapons. He has that changeup, breaking ball, but even the best, it's the ability to elevate that fastball up in the strike zone. And when it's 97, very few hitters are going to catch up to that pitch.
Yeah, Kelly Shopik said it's hard to call another pitch when a guy throws 97. But he's already seen the impact of bringing that curveball into the mix tonight. Ranger hitters are late on that fastball.
1 out, Molina at first base. Elvis Andrus, who singled, stole a base, and has scored this game's only run back in the 1st inning. Takes ball 1. Andrus, who hit 6 home runs in his rookie season, did not have 1 in 588 at bats during the regular season. And does not have 1 in the postseason as he fouls it back to the screen. It's a ball and a strike.
The 1st inning, Elvis Andrus at second base. He's running. The ball is grounded to Pena. And look at Andrus. He never stopped after he rounded 3rd. Price had his back to the play, and Andrus steals a run.
Key for that play is Carlos Pena at first base has to take that himself. If he does, his eyes are on Andrus. He has to stay at 3rd base. Once he tossed it to the pitcher, that was the signal to go.
We heard at the beginning of this series from Ron Washington how aggressive these Texas Rangers would be. And really, to this point, we've not seen a lot of aggressive base running so far for this Rangers team. But they are an aggressive team. They played that way during the regular season. That's the way they wanted to play in the postseason, and they did it here tonight.
Took Ron Washington 4 years to build this team and get this attitude.
The Rangers were one-dimensional for so long, and now they have so many different ways to beat you. And here they are, and where they ranked, and how they did it during the course of the regular season. It's a different Rangers team than you're used to. You mix in the pitching that they received and the addition of Cliff Lee, and that's why they're here. Andrus takes the strike, and it's a full count to leadoff hitter for the Rangers. Molina at first, 1 down here in the top half of the 3rd inning.
Hard to run Molina 3-2.
He is going a swing and a miss, and no throw from Shopik. And Molina, who is not known for his speed at all, is able to take second base.
What a year for Benji Molina. He hit for the cycle and he gets the antlers. He never thought he would ever get the antlers because he's one of the slower guys in baseball. But after the swing, Andrus kind of falls over the plate. Kelly Shopik hesitated. He needed to throw that ball. If he makes contact, They couldn't call obstruction, but Molina gets the stolen base.
And with Andrews scoring and Molina going 3-2, he gets the antlers, and it shows you what kind of game Texas is going to play this evening.
His first stolen base since 2006. He's in scoring position as Young carves it foul to the right.
The antlers is awarded to a Ranger player that exhibits speed. It comes from Josh Hamilton saying, "Run like a deer." Benji Molina was almost embarrassed that he sheepishly put the antlers up on top of his helmet, but his teammates were anxious to give him the antlers for the stolen base.
Young fouls off another fastball at 97 and is down 0-2. Price already has 2 strikeouts in the inning. One and two.
Ron Washington before the game told us he would like to give Cliff Lee an early run, and then said, "I'd really like to give him 3.
He's got 1 so far with Benji Molina at second base and 2 down here in the 3rd inning. Inside, and it's 2-2 now to Young. Two. Fouled off again. Young protecting the plate. 97 on the fastball from Price. The Rays have been able to sell out the postseason. They did games 1 and 2, and they even took off an area which was blocked off during the regular season up top here in the top deck. This place is revved and ready and very much into game number 5. 2-2 pitch. On the ground foul. Will do it again.
We mentioned how determined the Ranger hitters are with 2 strikes. They don't give anything away. Michael Young's very short and quick to the ball. He'll fight off the fastball and stay on the breaking ball. Clint Hurdle in his first year as a hitting coach has really encouraged his hitters to bat.
Well, David Price has held opponents to a 187 average with runners in scoring position. Young will hit in the air to right field, but Ben Zobrist has it sized up. He'll put it away. They lead Molina at second base to the Rangers. We're 2.5 through this. It's 1-0 Texas.
Welcome back to St. Petersburg. Game 5 between the Rays and the Rangers. Texas up 1-0. You know, every ballpark has something unique about it. Here in St. Petersburg, you're going to see a lot of blue plaid and a lot of cowbells. Now, the plaid comes from the Brazier, which was the brainchild of Joe Madden. It's something the team wore on some trips just to keep things light. Cowbell goes back to 08. It's from a Saturday Night Live skit. One of the owner's sons loved the skit. They played it here in the stadium, and it just took off. You'll still see a lot of cowbells here, and you will see a lot of Braziers as well. If not the Braziers themselves, you'll see a lot of blue plaid here. Back up to Don and the guys.
All right, Mark, thanks very much. First pitch swinging is Kelly Shopping down to third, where Young throws him out. 1 pitch and 1 out, and it's kind of interesting, Ron and Buck, the themed trips for Joe Madden during the course of the year. Some team unity in the different gear they've worn throughout the year on some of those road trips.
Yeah, the Brazier was his idea, and each of the players had to spend about $300 to buy one, and they would wear them on a road trip. They also had the NHL jerseys during the Stanley Cup. They had an Elvis trip. They had an all-white trip. They had an urban cowboy trip. Just kind of to build team chemistry.
Here's Sean Rodriguez, who takes strike 1. He came over from the Angels in the Scott Kazmir deal. Made the team out of spring training. He hit better than 400 during the spring, and he's been here all year. As he sends one to right, would have fallen for a base hit. One-out single for Sean Rodriguez, batting out of the number 9 spot. Second hit of the night for the Rays.
Rodriguez hit Cliff Lee hard in game 1, but had nothing to show for it. He lined out twice. And here he doesn't scorch this ball, hits it on the end of the bat, but he dumps it in front of the right fielder.
One out, one on. Back up top for Jason Bartlett. Bartlett single to right in the first inning. As the other Rays hit against Cliff Lee so far tonight.
Cliff Lee, one of the few pitchers in baseball that you could hit and run. First pitch.
Yeah.
That's how many strikes he throws.
And Bartlett handles the bat well. His single in the first inning was his 3rd leadoff single of the series. And if this is a perfect guy to hit and run off of, you've got Bartlett at the plate that handles the bat well. Joe Madden knows he has to do something to ignite the offense. You can't sit back and wait for a 3-run homer off Cliff Lee.
Unlike Price, who can dominate you at times, Cliff Lee can strike you out. He can throw 90-pitch complete games, but every hitter will come back shaking his head like they feel they should get a hit off Cliff.
I got him. I got him. Later on that night, you say, man, I was 0 for 4, but I was on him all night.
What happened? Bartlett takes the strike, and it evens the count at 1-1.
Cliff Lee is a little bit like Roy Halladay in that he moves the ball in both directions. The fastball, 2-seam cut. He throws cut fastball, good curveball, occasional changeup, but he pounds the corners and works very quickly.
Strike 2, and it's 1-2 to Bartlett.
The most challenging pitcher for a hitter is one that throws strikes on both corners. You can't zero in on one side or the other.
Well, he does it by repeating his pitching motion every single time.
Little roller down the third baseline. Lee turns and fires, but it's late. And safe at first is Bartlett. Had some spin, didn't go very far. Lee picks it up, and by the time he gets it to first, it's on the tardy side, and the Rays have 2 on.
And you got it. He got to the ball on time, but with that spin and on this field turf, has a little spin on at the end. Cliff cannot get the handle, and by that time, Bartlett has great speed. Base hit.
You can't defend against fluke hits, and that's what this is. Right off home plate, Bartlett hits the breaking ball, keeps it fair, and gets a base hit. There have been a lot of line drives caught on both sides of the field, but you can't defend the tappers swinging bunts.
2 on, 1 away, and Ben Zobrist reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning. It's his second look tonight at Cliff Lee. Zobrist takes strike 1. Zobrist an all-star for the first time last year. Started 6 different positions for Tampa Bay this year. And appeared in every position except pitcher and catcher. Say he's versatile is really to understate what it is that he does for Joe Madden. As he flares it foul off to the right and out of play.
He's an everyday utility player.
And gives Joe Madden an extended bench because he's so versatile. He can play him in right and then make a change, moving into second. He's played first in this series.
199 career games in the outfield, and he has never made an error. Two on, 1 away. First threat here for the Rays. It comes in the last half of the 3rd inning. And time call.
Interesting, when there's runners on base, Molina has to go through the cavalcade of signs. It almost slows down Cliff Lee, who likes to work at such a torrid pace.
Doesn't have to give a sign this time.
Zobrist flares one to center that's going to get in for a base hit. Rodriguez going to try and score. The throw is well off the mark to the backstop. And another runner will advance as Zobrist to move up to second on the bad throw. And this game is tied at 1.
And it was a bad throw. Sean Rodriguez, an exceptional base runner, not blessed with great speed, but he's got great instincts. He reads this very well off the bat. Zobrist with 2 strikes. Defends the strike zone and just flares it into the center. Hamilton's got a strong arm, but this is a bad throw. Rodriguez gets a good break with 1 out. Hamilton misses by a mile at home, and that allows Bartlett to move into scoring position at third, and Zobrist right behind him at second.
Sometimes you're cursed with a great arm. The more judicious play was to hit the cutoff man and still give Cliff Lee a chance to get out of this inning with a double play.
So a base hit, an error charged out there in center field. 2 in scoring position now with 1 out. And here's Carl Crawford. A swing and a miss out after that first pitch from Cliff Lee.
Hamilton got the ball in good shape, but just winds up and airmails everything. About 20 feet away from home plate. Molina couldn't even make an attempt to catch it.
Crawford reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning. Big chance here as he sends it foul off to the left, and it's 0-2. It was Ben Zobrist who was able to homer in the first game, the only run the Rays scored in the first game here at Tropicana Field, and it's Ben Zobrist who drives in the first run of the night for the Rays tonight, and this one ties the game 1-1. Now Crawford will send it foul down the left field line and into the seats. And fractured the bat in doing so.
Well, Cliff Lee's been giving up a lot of hits off the end of the bat, broken a couple of bats, but his ball's been a little up in the strike zone. That's why they've been able to put them in play.
He certainly doesn't have the same command we saw in game 1.
Jason Bartlett at third, Ben Zobrist at second, 1 down in the inning. Lee backs off again, and now he wants to see Molina. These 2 are very much on the same page in game 1. They've done a lot of talking here. The second time they've worked together in this series here in game 5.
Sometimes that is from a lack of confidence of the pitcher with certain pitches that he wants to throw. And those inning changers for Lee are that curveball to the left-hander that can get him a strikeout here.
Do you think they could be outsmarting themselves because they have making such a quick turnaround, trying to change what they did in game 1?
Crawford grounds it back to Lee, who will come home with it as they have Bartlett in the rundown and Young who will apply the tag. Runners unable to advance any further, and the out call was made as Bartlett thought he had gone around it and tried to score, but he gets the bad news now. He's out number 2 of the inning.
And both of these teams are very sound fundamentally, and the Rangers execute this play. Cliff Lee makes a good stab at the ball, and you can see Bartlett was breaking on contact. But they don't mess around with this rundown. Michael Young closes ground and makes a quick tag and then looks quickly to hold Zobrist at second. Michael Young moves into Bartlett, who is then tagged, and he shortened the distance and really made an easy play of it.
Bartlett tried to sell that he was never tagged, and I guess you can make an argument that maybe he wasn't at that look.
But the reaction from Young was to immediately turn around and go to third. So my feeling is you can't fake that. He must have felt like he got at least a swatch of Bartlett's clothing.
So it is now first and second with 2 down, and Evan Longoria fouled out to the first baseman Mitch Moreland over by the photographer's well, which is part of a ground rule here at Tropicana Field as well. And a pitch outside, and Joe Madden was out to argue in between innings on the play over by the photographer as well. And there's the yellow line. It was the contention of Joe Madden that perhaps Moreland had stepped into that area to make the catch. Longoria with a swing and a miss. Good cut there, and the count evens at 1-1.
Longoria had 3 hits in game 4 because Texas mislocated their fastball. They left some balls on the inner half, and he got to it. He had a double in the 4th, a home run in the 5th, and then went opposite field on a fastball. It was just out over the outer half. But they were all fastballs.
He's spiraling off the backside. No throw to second base. Both Longoria and Hamilton, the 2 stars you think about when you come into this series, injured at the end of the year. A very late time call there from Jeff Kellogg as Lee was about to deliver.
Well, Kellogg did not have to give him that time, but chose to. Longoria asked for time, backed out of the box. He did not have to give him time there, but chose to.
It was a little bit late. Kellogg would have been justified in not granting Longoria's request for time.
Longoria hits it to short. Andrus will go to first with it on the throw that ends the inning. But the Rays are able to tie the game 1 aside at the end of 3 in game 5. It's now time for EJ's mailbag presented by BlackBerry. Tonight's question comes from Stephanie in Portland. What is it like to play in a winner-take-all game of a postseason series? We'll ask both Buck and Ron. Buck, we'll start with you.
Well, my first opportunity came in 1976, Game 5 with the Kansas City Royals against the New York Yankees, and it was great. We wanted to go to the World Series. We were 1 game away. 1 pitch, bottom of the 9th inning, Chris Chambliss ruined our dream, and the Yankees went. We went home.
1 good, 1 bad. 1986, the Mets. I started it. That's Game 7. Mets win the World Series. Next Game 7, I started against the Dodgers in '88 in the championship series. Didn't make it out of the 2nd inning. I am haunted, and I mean it, haunted to this day.
Well, Josh Hamilton batting here to begin things here in the 4th inning. I want to remind fans to please send your questions along to EJ's mailbag at Turner.com. David Price working here to Hamilton, then Guerrero and Cruz in the 4th. As Hamilton with a big cut at 95 that time from Price, and it's 1-2.
Josh Hamilton won the batting crown this year. He had 359. But his timing is still suffering from missing the games in September.
Strike 3 call down by way of the K. It's the 5th strikeout for Price.
Much better pattern of pitches from David Price tonight compared to what we saw in Game 1. He's used his fastball in much better locations, but he's also put the breaking ball in the hitter's mind.
And it's almost like, to me, Buck, after watching him in Game 1 on the television, that he was trying to throw the ball through Shopping. Tonight, really trying to pinpoint his control.
Vladimir Guerrero bats with 1 out here in the 4th inning. Yeah, no doubt this is a much different approach here tonight than what we saw in Game 1. And credit Price for making that adjustment as Guerrero lifts it in the air out to right center field. The right fielder Zobrist calling and catching out number 2.
One thing we have to remind ourselves of, David Price is 25 years old. This is his 2nd full season as a starter. He's pitching against Cliff Lee, who has a Cy Young under his belt. And he's got much more experience, but David Price certainly showing signs that he has a Cy Young in his future.
Well, think about it this way. He had a save in the American League Championship Series and then had to go to AAA to learn how to be a starting pitcher.
Swing and a miss with a guy who became the youngest to start an All-Star game since 23-year-old Doc Gooden back in 1988. Youngest in the American League since Brett Saberhagen in '87. Rays crowd very much back in it. just outside.
Everybody thought that was a strike except Jeff Kellogg. Kelly Shoppach and David Price were headed toward the dugout.
Good call by Kellogg, just off the plate.
Cruz defending the plate, sending it foul off to the right.
It's almost as if these two pitchers have switched roles.
Cliff Lee isn't making the same quality pitches that he made in game one, but David Price is really making his pitches.
Two and two. Nelson Cruz struck out looking in the second inning. Price has 5 strikeouts. Foul down the right field line, out of play.
And Price has picked up his tempo, starting to feel a little better about what he's doing now. Got a clear idea of how he wants to attack the hitters, and he's stepping on a rubber. He's ready to go. Hasn't walked the batter yet.
2-2 pitch. Cruz hits into the air out to left center field and deep. B.J. Upton going back towards the wall. It is off the wall. The ricochet will go to Crawford, who goes to gather it. But to second base goes Nelson Cruz with a wall ball double with 2 down in the 4th inning. A ball that almost got out of here.
Cruz can hit a fastball, and he has 2 home runs against Price, including 1 in this series, and almost hits a third. Fastball, middle, and he thought he hit it out. He should have been on third base where this ball hits. He runs that well, but he thought he hit it out only to the deepest part of this field.
He was styling on this play, and it cost him a base. You can see him take off now, way too late.
One thing Ron Washington always asks his players to do is treat the game right. Cruz didn't there.
Now he takes third to try to make up for it. It gets thrown away. He's coming to score at the plate to put the Rangers on top 2-1. So right away he takes off for third base, and the errant throw from Shoppach that ends up in left puts Texas on top 2-1.
Well, there's plenty of antlers to go around now.
Cruz had 17 steals in the regular season. Knew he should have been on third, so got a good jump. Price never looked at him at second base with 2 outs, and he's got a great jump. Shoppach rushes his throw and airmails it into left.
He didn't even get that great of a jump. What happened is that was a total surprise play. Surprised everyone, including third baseman Longoria, as the ball just airmails into left field. Ron Washington making like the old third base coach he used to be.
So a stolen base and an error.
Both Rangers runs manufactured. Elvis Andrus scored from second base on a ground out to first. And Cruz scores stealing third and moves home on the air. Texas Rangers a few years ago couldn't score like that.
Texas now 6 steals in the series. Kinsler batting with 2 outs. The base is empty now as Price ready with a 2-2 pitch. And Kinsler to right field. It's falling fast and in for a base hit. Zobrist over to play it, quickly gets it back in. Kinsler's got a 2-out single, his second hit of the game.
The other sign that you'll see from the Rangers is the claw, which acknowledges a job well done. This time it's a breaking ball up out over the plate. Kinsler takes it to right. Ben Zobrist did a heck of a job of cutting that ball off to keep Kinsler at first.
Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, out to talk to David Price here. We got 2 quick outs in the inning, but then the double by Cruz that almost left the yard. The stolen base, the error from Shoppach that scores the run, and now a single for Kinsler here in the 4th inning.
And you mentioned it before, Buck. They're really centering the baseball when they're hitting here. They have hits the right field, cruises hit the center field. Not trying to pull David Price.
Here is Jeff Francoeur, who grounded into a double play, 6-4-3 to end the second inning. Kinsler back to the bag at first.
Yeah, it's a good idea by Price to check on Kinsler. Washington will start Kinsler with Francoeur, who's a very good first ball fastball hitter, even though there are 2 outs.
Francoeur rips it foul out ahead of that.
Ever since he came up with the Braves in 2005, Jeff Francoeur has been a very aggressive first pitch swinger.
Fitz White got some stitching on it. He's swinging.
Just 168 career walks and 3,443 career plate appearances. There's a check on first again, and Kinsler back to the bag.
He's a hitter. He was a defensive back destined to play college football, and he's always thought about hitting, whether it's on the football field or on the baseball field.
He was not hitting with the Mets this year, hitting at .237 at the time of the trade, but hit .340 with the Rangers after joining them, and lines this one foul again.
We were having a discussion today, and he told me that he thinks this would be the closest to if he had gone and played college football on a Saturday in front of 100,000 fans.
Getting close to signing with Clemson.
That's the 2 outs. Kinsler at first base. 0-2 pitch to Jeff Francoeur. There goes Kinsler as Francoeur strikes out to end the inning. The Rangers have taken a 2-1 lead at the end of 3.5 as Nelson Cruz gets in and gives Texas a lead in Game 5. American League Division Series coverage on TBS is presented by BlackBerry. The pier in St. Petersburg, Florida. It is 2-1 now. Texas on top as we play on to the bottom of the 4th inning. Rangers had a 1-0 lead. The Rays tied at 1-1, but now Texas on top by a run as the Rays come to bat here in the bottom of the 4th inning inside Tropicana Field. It'll be Carlos Pena, B.J. Upton, and Dan Johnson to face Cliff Lee. He's thrown 42 pitches through the first 3 innings and now has a lead again. He struck out Pena the first time he saw him, and it's the only strikeout for Cliff Lee so far through the first 3. Strike 1 to Pena.
The Rays beat Cliff Lee twice earlier in the season, once while he was with Seattle and once after the trade to Texas. They have confidence they can get to him. They just have to be selective. Even though he's going to throw a lot of first pitch strikes, they have to wait for their pitch.
It's up high, a ball and a strike. The familiar shift on here for the Texas Rangers with Ian Kinsler in short right field. And we talked a little bit about that earlier, how it has played on the psyche of Carlos Pena maybe this year more than other years, and Joe Madden pointed to the fact that Pena's been grounding into it more than he has in the past. Not been able to get the lift that he has had in years past. Sends this one foul, back and out of play off to the right.
But you could imagine when you get off to a slow start, as Pena did, then you start to hit the ball sharply, and every time you do, it's right at a defender. Gets frustrated. Eric Shelton in his first year as the hitting coach here with Tampa Bay, trying to help Pena identify the fact that first you have to hit strikes, and then you can't think about trying to guide the baseball.
Carlos failed to reach 30 home runs for the first time in his 4 years in Tampa Bay. The 1-2, the breaking ball is in there for strike 3. Strikes out for the second time. Moments ago, we had the chance to talk to the manager of the Rangers, Ron Washington, about this tight game and taking advantage of some miscues from the Rays.
Well, I do. You know, it's a tough-fought game, and we're taking advantage of some things. You know, we're getting an opportunity to run the bases, and you know, we're trying to force the action. And right now, things is in our favor as far as the score goes. but we have a long ways to go.
Ron, you said that the last piece of your puzzle was the base running, and tonight the base running is accounted for both of your runs. Is that the mindset you want to see from your guys?
Yes, it is. You know, we have to stay aggressive. It's a very aggressive team, and we're just trying to stay as aggressive as we can and take advantage of the athletes we have. You know, and sometimes when you do that, things don't work in your favor, but tonight they are.
All right, Ron, thanks very much.
Thank you, guys.
One out here in the fourth inning. B.J. Upton is down to the count 0-1. And as you said earlier, as we take a look at Nelson Cruz, who scored the go-ahead run, Buck, it took a little while for the Rangers to kind of buy into what Ron Washington was trying to sell. The small ball and some of the things that now the Rangers can do to beat you.
Washington came to Texas after 11 years with Oakland, who really epitomized pitching and defense, and he saw how you could win games. And when he came to Oakland, the players were reluctant to buy in.
That's in there for strike 3, and it's back-to-back Ks for Lee. He's starting to find his bearings right now. There's 2 down in the fourth inning.
We know, Buck, sometimes it's hard to buy in when you're winning every game 8-7 and getting great offensive numbers. But as you can see here, just a big curveball that B.J. Upton thought was a little high in the strike zone, given the call by Kellogg.
Got over the outside corner. It was definitely over the corner. Upton thought it was high.
So 2 down here in the fourth inning. Dan Johnson, the batter, he popped out to short in his first at bat, and he takes strike 1.
I think the switch has turned a little bit here for Cliff Lee. Pumping strikes in there.
Broken bat, bloop, that goes foul. When you look back to game 1 here at Tropicana Field, the Rays had the bases loaded with 1 out and had a chance to get to Lee early. They did not get to him. They got out of that inning unscathed. Here again tonight, they do get a run in the first couple of innings, but you get the feeling if you don't get to Cliff Lee, he will settle in on you.
Well, and he can make adjustments on the fly, and that's what veteran pitchers do. They'll throw one pitch, they'll evaluate that pitch and say, okay, a little too quick with my front side, got to slow it down. And they know how to make adjustments and get right back into the right spot in the strike zone.
Frame by Molina. Lee thought he had it, but it's a ball inside. It's 1-2.
And with younger pitchers, sometimes even when you find it, it'll drift in and out. With a veteran pitcher, they get it locked in and they stay for that ride.
He had struck out Pena and Upton. Now 1-2 to Johnson, and that's inside to even the count at 2-2.
Pitchers like Cliff Lee work to a pitch. They throw the slow curveball, then they come back with an inside fastball. You thought he'd made a good pitch right here to finish off this at bat. He threw it exactly where he wanted, just didn't get the call.
Johnson strikes out. Lee strikes out the side. Pena, Upton, and Johnson in succession. Done with 4. Texas leads 2-1.
Goodyear Assurance Fuel Max tires save you 2,600 miles in gas, so you can drive to the Washington Monument, or the Grand Canyon, or catch a home game at the oldest baseball stadium in America. Assurance Fuel Max. More miles, less gas.
Back at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida, as we head for inning number 5. The Texas Rangers have a 2-1 lead. Benji Molina, Mitch Moreland, and Elvis Andrus to face David Price here in the 5th. Molina with a single and a stolen base. It was left at second base back in the 3rd inning. The Rangers have stranded a pair through the first 4 innings. David Price with 6 strikeouts through the first 4 innings. Molina takes the strike over the outside corner. It's 2-1. Molina and Vladimir Guerrero, the only 2 players in the Rangers roster have played in a winner-take-all postseason game. Guerrero playing for the Angels in Game 5 of the 2005 ALDS against the Yankees. Molina played in 2 such games. Game 7 of the 0-2 World Series against the Giants, and 0-5 in the ALDS against the Yankees. And the Rangers, if they can hold on to this lead, would win their first postseason series ever.
The only Major League franchise that hasn't won a postseason series. Cliff Lee trying to erase that.
On the ground up the middle, diving is Bartlett. With Molina running, he's got time, and he throws him out. Moments ago, we had the chance to talk to the manager of the Rays, Joe Madden. We asked him about perhaps a change tonight in David Price's arsenal against the Rangers this time through.
Yeah, he's mixing in some pretty good breaking balls. Cruz got him there with 2 strikes recently, but overall he is mixing his pitches better. He's still got the really good fastball. When you see 97 on our scoreboard, that's pretty accurate.
Your right-handed hitters have had some success hitting the ball right field off Lee.
Yeah, we have. Of course, JB and Sean have done that. He's really good. He's moving the ball around very well like he normally does. He's using the slider, the cutter more versus the left-hander today, but then he's getting in when he wants to. He's pretty good.
Okay, Joe, thanks very much.
My pleasure, guys.
Thanks, Joe.
All right.
1 out here in the 5th inning, and Mitch Moreland is the batter. Moreland struck out swinging in the 3rd inning as he takes the strike from David Price.
Again, Price continues to work very quickly. That keeps pressure on the hitters.
Strike over the inside corner at 96. He is up to 80 pitches through 4 1/3 innings. Moreland hits one in the air, the left field, sending Crawford back onto the track to make the catch. Moreland gives it a ride the other way, but Crawford gets back to make the grab for out number 2 of the 5th.
Another one of those good at-bats by Moreland. And the 0-2 pitch stayed on that fastball away. And Crawford out in left field, one of the best.
So 2 down here in the 5th as it's back up top for Elvis Andrus. Singled, stole a base, and scored in the 1st. Struck out in the 3rd. And takes strike 1 from David Price.
22 years old, playing like he's 32. Middle of the diamond, in total control of his emotions. Plays winter ball in Venezuela. Has had experience in this type of atmosphere. Very calm. He can slow the game down for a young player.
He's already had 2 multi-hit games in the series. He's looking for another. 0-2 pitch. Is up and away. He was the 2nd youngest last year, trailing only Rick Porcello of the Tigers. 1-2. Shortened up and takes ball 2.
Awful lot of confidence to think about a bunt with 2 strikes. He had 12 bunts during the regular season. Had a bunt to the second baseman earlier in this series. And now he's forced Pena in, even with 2 strikes.
2-2 pitch. Chops it foul outside of 3rd. We'll do it again. 2-2.
You can see a lot of old-time Texas ball players saying, what kind of game are they playing here in Texas?
Juan Gonzalez, Ruben Sierra, Pudge Rodriguez. We never bunted like that.
These may not be your father's Rangers, but they're Nolan Ryan's Rangers now. Co-owner and president of the Texas Rangers looking on. Line to left and a base hit for Elvis Andrus, who has his 2nd hit of the night. And aboard with 2 down in the 5th.
We talk about Price using his breaking ball, but I don't think it's a good pitch, especially the curveball with 2 strikes. This lineup is just trying to protect the zone, and that thing just rolls over in the strike zone, and Andrus is able to hook it into left field. That's not a put-away curveball. It's very effective to get ahead. and it really complements the fastball, but I don't think it's a good pitch in the strike zone with 2 strikes.
2 down. Andrus at first base, and Young with a wild swing and a miss.
Well, with that swing there by Young, you can see some of the frustration he has so far in this series.
On the ground to second base, Sean Rodriguez picks and throws, and it ends the top of the 5th inning. We're halfway through this one, and the Rangers enjoy a 2-1 lead in Game 5. Tonight's leaderboard is brought to you by John Hancock. And strikeouts in a division series. And it started in 1995 to date, and the Rangers with 48 ties them with the Indians from 0-1. 4 strikeouts in the game for Cliff Lee so far, and the Padres, all-time leader in that category back in 1998 with 49.
Cliff Lee has 14 strikeouts so far in this series, certainly contributing to that number.
Look at all those numbers, though. None of those teams won the World Series.
Kelly Shoppach to get it started in the bottom of the 5th inning. Shoppach, Rodriguez, and Bartlett anticipated. Lee struck out the side in order in the 4th inning. And starts his 5th inning, having thrown 55 pitches through the first 4. Shoppach after the first pitch and fouls it off to the right.
When you watch this offense for Tampa Bay, it's almost like they're in between, Buck. They don't know whether to be real aggressive early in the count or to take a few pitches and try to get one down the middle. So far, they're not getting that pitch down the middle.
No, they're not, and they have heard so much about how often Cliff Lee throws first pitch strikes. They're saying, okay, I got to hit that first strike.
Shoppach hits it in the air to center field. Josh Hamilton back a few steps and over, and he makes the catch for the first out of the 5th.
To give you an idea how challenging it is to hit against Cliff Lee, look at this pitch sequence to Dan Johnson. He does such a great job of working to both sides of the plate. We'll get back to that, but we'll show you how effective he is making that fastball go in both directions.
Look at the line for him so far through 4 1/3. 1 away for Sean Rodriguez, who takes strike 1. He's got 1 of the 4 hits for the Rays as he singled to right in the 3rd and scored the Rays' lone run in the 3rd inning. Grounder foul outside of 3rd, and it's 0-2.
Sean Rodriguez's father, Johnny Rodriguez, a former big league coach with the Yankees, now a minor league manager with the Cardinals, managed his first season in the Cardinals system, managed at Quad Cities in the Midwest League. But he is here tonight. I went up to visit with Johnny Rodriguez and talked about watching his son. He goes, I tell you what, it is tough. We are baseball people, but we're still fathers watching your son perform in such a big stage. And he was so proud to be here and watch his son play tonight.
Rodriguez fouls it off to the right, and it's 1-2.
Well, you always dream as a young boy of having your chance to play in these kind of games, but you don't always know what the outcome is. You don't know if you're going to have one of those days that you dream of or a nightmare.
Swing and a miss. Strikes out. It's 5 Ks for Lee, and there's 2 down in the 5th.
This is the pitch sequence we were talking about. Breaking ball to the outside corner. Fastball breaks his back. And then the curveball. Lee thought it was on the inside corner, but he's going to bring the 2-seamer back inside. Polishes him off with the cutter down and away. Both sides of the plate, never threw a ball in the middle of the plate.
Jason Bartlett takes strike 1 from Cliff Lee. 2 outs here in the 5th inning. Bartlett 2 for 2. 2 singles so far in the contest as he bats here in the 5th. And a late swing, and it kind of jammed him. 0-2.
Cliff Lee at some point becomes so effective and efficient and methodical It's almost video pitching when you watch him. He can just throw any pitch to any spot at any speed.
Bartlett fouls it off. 0-2 still.
A left-handed Roy Halladay, cutting the ball to both sides of the plate, rarely throwing a ball in the middle of the plate, and their careers are similar in that Lee came up, won 14 games with the Indians, went back to the minor leagues and rebuilt his delivery, much along the lines of Roy Halladay, and then came back and won a Cy Young Award, winning 22 games for the Indians.
Neither will have to go back again.
Didn't miss by much, and framed there by Molina, but it is a ball. 1-2.
John Romano of the St. Pete Times characterized Lee as Cy Young and David Price as Cy Younger. A good pitching matchup for sure.
2-2. The 12-pitch inning so far, and there have been a lot more strikes lately over the last couple of innings for Lee. He has struck out 4 of the last 5 batters that he's dealt with. Bartlett fouls off another out of play. Now Bartlett, along with Matt Garza, an important part of the rotation for the Rays, coming from the Minnesota Twins, and both playing large roles in the run in 2008 for Tampa Bay that got them all the way to the World Series against the Phillies.
That's the kind of trade general managers dream of, because it helped both teams. Delman Young went the other direction and blossomed this year for Minnesota.
Two again. And Bartlett again fouls it off. Nothing else driving up this pitch count for Cliff Lee. Next pitch for Lee will be the 70th of his outing, with 2 outs here in the 5th.
Ron Washington told us C.J. Wilson is very hot in their bullpen. Don't be surprised if you see C.J. Wilson behind Lee at some point tonight.
Bartlett takes ball 3 and an impressive at bat, but has now gone full. This will be the 9th pitch of the at bat coming up.
Tommy Hunter and Colby Lewis and C.J. Wilson, all hands on deck in the Rangers bullpen.
And Rob Washington said it didn't matter whether it was early or late, which we found interesting. Figured if Cliff Lee struggled early that we would see C.J. Wilson, but you have the flexibility to use C.J. Wilson late because he's a guy that was a closer not all that long ago.
Yeah, he closed for them last year. This is his first year as a starter, so they don't have any reservations whatsoever about C.J. Wilson cranking it up quickly.
Bartlett hits it towards left center field, and that'll fall. Over the plate is Cruz. Bartlett's trying for 2. The throw is not going to be in time and is cut off, and Bartlett in a great at bat, able to come up with a double with 2 down here in the 5th, and he earned that.
Well, Bartlett has figured out the puzzle of Cliff Lee and hustling out of the box. Great opportunity to take the extra base with 2 outs. Ball's coming out of the hand, a little cutter, Buck.
Cutter, he didn't get it inside far enough. Bartlett had seen everything in this at bat, and when he got that pitch out over the plate, he drilled it into the gap in left center, and then with 2 outs, he was thinking second base the moment he got out of the box.
So Jason Bartlett, a 10-pitch at bat, gets a double, his 3rd hit of the night. In scoring position, representing the tying run, 2 down. Here's Ben Zobrist, who is 1 for 2 with an RBI. And it's strike 1 to Zobrist.
It's a lot to ask, but in these games, sometimes your only opportunity is to drive in a run with 2 outs.
This team hit under 250 for the season, yet scored 802 runs. So they took advantage of every scoring opportunity they got.
Now the Rays hitting at 247 during the regular season. Only the Seattle Mariners in the American League as a team collectively at a lower batting average. But in the run department, as you mentioned, 802 runs during the regular season, only behind the Yankees and Red Sox in that category. And it's Zobrist with a count of 1-1 and 2 down. Zobrist sends it foul down the right field line and out of play.
Zobrist hit a home run in the 7th inning off of Cliff Lee to the opposite field. Got the pitch up out over the plate with 1 out. That was the only run and just made the score 5-1 at that point. But he knows that he's going to have to go the other way against Cliff Lee. He's hit him well throughout his career.
Bartlett at second base, 2 down in the 5th. Strike 3 call. Zobrist strikes out at 6 Ks for Lee. We're through 5 in game 5, and it's Texas 2-1.
The MLB Division Series on TBS is brought to you by Nissan. Innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow, innovation for all. And by MasterCard, the preferred card of Major League Baseball.
Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida, the site of Game 5 of the American League Division Series, where the Texas Rangers have a 2-1 lead as they come to bat in the top half of the 6th inning. It's Josh Hamilton who gets it started and hits one high in the air to right field, sending Ben Zobrist back shy of the warning track, now onto it to make the catch. So a high fly ball to right, and the first sign of life in that direction for Hamilton. But he is retired on the warning track for the first out of the 6th inning.
Hamilton got a high breaking ball and just missed it. Got it off the end of the bat. He knew he didn't get enough of it to knock it out of the ballpark. But to give you an idea how strong he is, that ball went all the way to the warning track, and he missed it.
He's out number 1 of the 6th inning. And it brings up Vladimir Guerrero, who takes ball 1 away. So now 2 for 17 in the series is Josh Hamilton, who is the first out of the 6th inning. As Guerrero in a wild swing and a miss, and pretty much every swing, the descriptions can be made that it is wild from Vladimir Guerrero. Here's Grant Balfour, who warms in the pen. The first action we've seen for either side in the pens. And what a job the Rays pen did in Texas in games 3 and 4. A huge factor.
Sure was, and they have a distinct advantage over Texas from here on in the bullpen in my mind. Balfour, Benoit, and Soriano.
In Texas, both Benoit and Balfour had 5-out appearances that were crucial for their team's win.
Outside, Guerrero didn't bite, and it's a full count. Well, Price had thrown 88 pitches in game 1 through the first 5. He was at 89 through 5, and there's a ground ball back up the middle for Guerrero, and a 1-out single for Vladimir Guerrero as the Rangers have a runner aboard here in the 6th. We are at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida, for Game 5 of the American League Division Series. Don Orsillo with Buck Martinez, Ron Darling, and Mark Fine. And as we look at the starters comparison here in Game 5, a 2-1 advantage for the Texas Rangers. Price in 5 1/3 giving up the 2 runs, and there has not been a walk allowed by either pitcher in this game.
That's a tremendous stat in that both pitchers understand the importance of this game, but they've been aggressive in the strike zone, and it's just a 2-1 ball game.
Nelson Cruz takes a strike. He nearly hit one out of the yard in the 4th inning. He doubled off the wall out there in left center field. stole third, and then on the throwing error by Kelly Shopik gave the Rangers the 2-1 advantage as he scored in the 4th inning. On the ground, left side, deep in the hole as Bartlett throws to second. It's off the glove of Rodriguez, and everybody's going to be safe. His momentum was carrying him to the third base side. He threw it side-armed, and it one-hopped Rodriguez, who couldn't pick it, and all of a sudden the Rangers have runners at first and second.
Vladdy Guerrero is healthy, and his knees aren't a problem like they were last year. The only play Bartlett has here is hoping to force out at second. Rodriguez stretching like a first baseman, can't dig the ball out of dirt, but it looked like Guerrero was going to be safe anyway.
But not holding Vladimir Guerrero on at first base allowed him to get 2 or 3 more steps that allowed him to be safe at second base.
Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, out to talk here to David Price with 1 out. And with more on Vladimir Guerrero, Mark Fine.
Yeah, you know, Ron pointed out him being a good base runner, and both managers in agreement on that. Joe Maddon said, you've really got to keep an eye on him. He says, I don't care he's 35 years old. I don't care what he looks like going down to first. When he gets down there, if you don't watch him, he'll steal a base. He'll go first to third. And guys, you probably remember, forget which one of you asked Ron Washington about which his best base runner was. He named a few. Vladdy was one of them.
Washington talked about Nelson Cruz, Vladdy Guerrero. People you don't normally think of being great base runners because of their instincts.
Runners at first and second, 1 out here in the 6th inning. With Guerrero at second, Cruz at first, and Ian Kinsler the batter. With a swing and a miss. Fastball by him at 96. Kinsler's had a fabulous American League Division Series, hitting at .438, couple of home runs. And a 2-for-2 night here in Game 5. With singles to center and a single to right. Outside at 97, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, Price hasn't lost a thing on his velocity. That was the 100th pitch, and big, strong, young, powerful pitcher with a good delivery.
And as he has reached the century mark, Grant Balfour continues to warm in the pen. Kinsler fouls it off, and it's 1-2.
When you're looking at a pitcher, you not only want to use the pitch count, which is much in vogue today, but you want to see how loosey-goosey, how free and easy he's throwing the baseball, delivering it. Showing 97 miles an hour shows you that he has not lost anything. He's still in this game, and you want to go with your best in these tough moments.
Through 107 pitches in Game 1. And trying to get out of this jam here in Game 5. Kinsler on the ground to first. Pena to second for 1. Layden covering his Price, and he doesn't get there in time. Here comes Guerrero, who will be safe. And the Rangers take a 3-1 lead.
Vladdy Guerrero twice in this inning using his instinctive base running. Watch how he looks over his shoulder and watches the play develop. And he, just like Andrus early in the game, never hesitated around third. He ran toward third base, looking at the play at first, knowing he had a chance to score. Take a look at the replay at first. Kinsler might have been out. Price looked like he struggled to make contact with the bag, and the first base umpire, Mike DeMiro, never really hesitated.
And beautiful slide by Guerrero, that left hand just scraping the outside part of the plate.
It also looked like Price was late in getting over there. As this pitch is in the dirt, and back to the bag at first is Kinsler. He got kind of a late break to the bag, which made it harder.
He did. Carlos Pena was way off the line. It kind of fooled him. Ball to the right side. You always got to go over there. But 2 runs now have scored for Tampa Bay with the pitchers back to the play.
First one in the first when Elvis Andrus came around from second base, and this one in the 6th inning as Guerrero scores, and it is 3-1 now Texas. Kinsler at first, held on by Pena with 2 outs in the inning. Francoeur with a little pop-up foul ground. Shopik will get there. It ends the inning. This aggressive Rangers team running and scoring. They lead at 3-1. Visit TBS Hot Corner at MLB.com/TBS Hot Corner to watch live video companion coverage of every MLB postseason game. Well, some wild action in this one as we head to the last half of the 6th inning. And to give Cliff Lee a bit of a pad now, he's got a 2-run lead in which to work as Carl Crawford, Evan Longoria, Carlos Pena, 3, 4, and 5 for the Rays try to answer here in the bottom of the 6th inning. That is the 77th pitch thrown by Lee, and it misses for ball 1. Jim Hickey's waiting for the phone to ring. No strike, and it's 1-1.
Ron Washington before the game said he would like to get a run early for Cliff Lee. If he was real selfish, he'd like to get 3.
He's got his 3. Talk about the mindset of a starting pitcher here in the middle innings with a comfortable lead after you've been out there for a while.
Well, you don't really feel comfortable in games like this. The score is 3-1, but you know at any time a bloop and a blast against the Rays and they're back in this ball game. I think Cliff Lee, his only thought process, one of the best in the game, execution of that pitch which is called.
Crawford in the air to right field. Francoeur moving back, has plenty of room and puts it away for the first out of the 6th inning. It's time for the big hit, brought to you by Fresh and Delicious Avocados.
Evan Longoria in game 4. A 2-run home run in the 5th inning. A big blow got things off and running, but more importantly signaled that Longoria's stroke was back. He had 2 doubles and a 2-run home run in game 4.
1 out here in the 6th inning. Longoria tonight 0 for 2. Fouled out to first base, grounded out to short. As he takes strike 1. Saw Longoria hobbling around pretty good towards the end of that 4th game in Arlington, but appears to be moving around much better tonight so far. To right center field. Hamilton from center makes the catch, and there's 2 down. Let's send it down to field level and Matt Weiner. Matt.
All right, time for a game break presented by Bank of America. And a reminder, game 1 of the ALCS comes to TBS on Friday. Our coverage starts at 7:30 Eastern time, then the Yankees and either the Rays or the Rangers, depending on what happens tonight. The Yanks sitting back in and around Manhattan waiting for an opponent. By the way, if you're looking ahead, which we like to do, the Rays won the season series 10-8 over New York, while the Yanks split 8 with Texas during the regular season.
Okay, Matt, thanks very much. Back here at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. It is game 5, and we're into the last half of the 6th inning. 2 down, and Carlos Pena is 0 for 2. He struck out twice and had struck out 3 times in game 1. Doesn't go around this time.
Ron Washington was talking about this game tonight. He said he hopes his 3-4-5 hitters could outshine the 3-4-5 hitters of Tampa Bay. Well, it hasn't been an explosion, more like a firecracker, but they have been doing better.
If you're going to win a World Series championship, you have to be able to score runs the way the Rangers have scored them tonight. They've scored all 3 runs because of their base running. Even 35-year-old Vladdy Guerrero had an impact twice in the same inning. Scoring from first base, Cruz had a stolen base, scored on the air, and the 22-year-old shortstop Elvis Andrus scored the first run of the ball game.
And Balfour continuing to warm in the pen for the Rays. 104 pitches thrown by David Price through the first 6 innings. Pena Swings, says home plate umpire Jeff Kellogg, and it is 1-2. Check swing foul, and it hangs at 1-2 to Pena. Well, the numbers at home for the Rays certainly much different than they were in Arlington, of course, dropping the first 2 games of this 5-game series to the Rangers here at Tropicana Field.
The reason they have struggled at home is Cliff Lee and C.J. Wilson, the starting pitchers they have faced in this ballpark.
Pena with a swing and a miss, strikes out for the 3rd time tonight. Cliff Lee enjoys a 1-2-3 inning. The Rangers enjoy a 3-1 lead. Tonight's bullpen spotlight is delivered by UPS. Let UPS put the power of logistics to work for you. And look at the bullpen situation in this series, and Buck, we talked about the Rays and how good they've been.
Well, this is the first time in Joe Maddon's run as the manager here that he's had a distinctive 7th, 8th, and 9th inning guy. He's got Balfour, Benoit, and Soriano. The addition of Soriano and Benoit certainly have proven to be very effective in that bullpen. Texas, on the other hand, good arms down there, maybe a little inexperienced to this point, and they have not been as effective as Tampa Bay.
New pitcher on now for the Rays as David Price throws 104 pitches through the first 6 innings and departs being charged with the 3 runs the Rangers have. It's Grant Balfour.
You can see his numbers during the season. He doesn't walk a lot of hitters either. Good strikeout to inning ratio. He will throw a lot of fastballs.
Molina pops it up near the cat rings, doesn't touch anything, and Pena's got to play, and he makes it for the first out of the 7th inning and foul ground. 1 out here in the 7th inning, and Buck and Ron, you take a look at this game so far, and the Texas Rangers really taking advantage here, able to get these runs and getting them at the plate, and both times pitcher with the back to the plate.
Well, the big thing about playing in postseason baseball is generally you're not going to beat up on the starting pitching you see because they're all front line starters. So you have to be able to manufacture runs, and Ron Washington has done a great job of preparing his team.
They really have, and I think also they've chosen this game to be aggressive from the beginning. Benji Molina running on a 3-2 count. They've decided to err on that side, to be as aggressive as they can in this game. Try to force Tampa Bay to make mistakes. So far, so good.
Benji Molina with a stolen base in this game. Andrews using his speed to score the first run of the game after a steal in the first. He scored from first base on a ground out by Josh Hamilton.
Mitch Moreland batting with 1 out here in the 7th inning. He is struck out, flied out to the warning track, and chops this one foul outside of first.
Surprised at all, Buck, that Price was taken out of that ball game?
No, not given the effectiveness of the bullpen. Grant Balfour has pitched well for Joe Maddon all year long. He gave him an inning and 2/3 in game 4 and a 7-pitch 1-2-3-7.
Swing and a miss from Moreland. Strikes out, 2 down in the 7th inning.
Base running has been important here, as you can see. Watch Andrews come around and scores on a ground out to the first baseman. And then Nelson Cruz stealing with 2 outs. Scores on the air by the catcher, and finally Vladimir Guerrero. Now watch Guerrero. He is watching the play over his shoulder, sees the pitcher's back, and takes off for home. All 3 Rangers runs have scored because of their wheels.
Elvis Andrus, part of that combination, who takes ball 1. Singled, stole a base, and scored the first run in the first.
How many times have you seen 3 runs scored on base running plays where the third base coach has no play in it? It is the base runners who are watching the play in front of them.
Andrews takes it on the corner for a strike, 1-1. Hamilton has not been a factor in this series so far for the Rangers, but they enjoy a 3-1 lead at the moment as they bat in the 7th. This is up the middle. Bartlett to his left. The throw is in time, and the inning is over. It's 7th inning stretch in Game 5 of the ALDS. Texas leads 3-1.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
Give me space for both my hands, cause it goes on and on and on. My hands up in the air sometimes, saying, ayo, gotta let go. I wanna celebrate and live my life.
Cliff Lee and the Texas Rangers have a 3-1 lead as we head to this last half of the 7th inning. Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, and with his 17 Ks in this series, Cliff Lee has set a new American League Division Series record with 10 Ks in the first game and 7 here in Game 5.
Well, he repeats his motion over and over, could work both sides of the plate. And the thing you love about Cliff Lee is that he'll get the hitters thinking soft, and then he'll counter with his fastball or cutter, or he'll have fastball cutter on their line and counter with the slow curve. He just keeps hitters bouncing back and forth between speeds.
He's used his slow curve much more effectively in this game than he did in Game 1. It wasn't a factor in Game 1. It was cutters and fastballs, but the slow curve has really been effective for Lee.
So it's into the 7th inning for Lee, who has thrown 87 pitches through the first 6 innings, and it's B.J. Upton who leads it off here in the 7th. And a pinch hitter has come out on deck. Willie Ibar would pinch hit for Dan Johnson. Upton sends it foul back into the seats beyond the Rays dugout.
I spoke to Carl Crawford specifically about Cliff Lee, and I said everybody's on you guys about being aggressive on the first pitch because he throws so many strikes. Crawford, very adamant, says those are his strikes. Those aren't good strikes to hit. We just have to be patient enough to try to get a pitch that you can hit.
I think when you hear at home about a pitcher throwing first pitch strikes, you think that he's just throwing the ball down the middle to try to get ahead. Cliff Lee is not that person. He has great effectiveness with his pitches on the corners that he is not shooting to get a pitch over to get up in the count. He's thinking ball on the corner every time.
And those are great numbers there. He throws nearly 70% first pitch strikes, where the major league average is 58.7.
Upton lines it into right field, a base hit. With a good start to the bottom of the 7th inning for the Rays. Let's check in with Mark Fine with more on Joe Maddon.
You know, guys, that Maddon talked about 3 keys for this team. One was get off to a good start, 32-12 to start the season. Then he talked about the fine line between winning and losing. And the last thing he said, we've got to dominate late. And before the start of this inning, you could see him walking up and down the dugout. He hadn't done it yet this game. Smacking guys on the back, telling them let's go. A little bit of urgency in the dugout for the Rays, guys.
All right, Mark, thanks very much. Willie Ibar pinch hitting here for Dan Johnson in 2 attempts against Lee. Johnson had been 0 for 2. And some stirring for the first time, and as anticipated, C.J. Wilson is standing up down in that pen. Ibar was not on the original postseason roster, added when Baldelli was taken off. The runner goes, and a pop fly sent foul back and out of play. As that time Upton had started.
Ibar is their most frequently used pinch hitter. He had more pinch hitting at bats than anybody on the Rays, and Joe Maddon will pinch hit a lot. But Maddon told us earlier that he didn't like the Ibar matchup as a right-handed batter against Cliff Lee as much as he did Dan Johnson against Cliff Lee.
Well, he's changed his mind after 2 at-bats.
Well, Ibar had such a big 2008 postseason at .353 for the Rays in their run to the World Series in 08. That's here with Upton at first base. Lee will check on him, and he's easily back to the bag.
Ibar's got some pop. 2 of his 7 hits as a pinch hitter were home runs.
Most of his 3 seasons was the Rays, and he didn't hit at least 10. There's a check at first again, and back is Upton. It's 16 of his 33 home runs for Ibar have come right here at Tropicana Field. A strike to Ibar. And it's 0-2. B.J. Upton at first base, stealing 40 bases for the 3rd consecutive season, caught only 9 times. Ibar with a wild swing, one hand coming off.
This is the part of the game that the Rays have dominated all year long. 7th, 8th, and 9th inning. That fastball didn't get inside, but you could see Ibar lost the grip on the bat.
Remember, the Rangers were just 5 outs away from wrapping up this series in Game 3. When the Rays had late inning magic and continued it in Game 4. Darren O'Day and C.J. Wilson warming in the pen for Texas. As again, Upton back to the bag at first. Ibar 7 for 26 during the regular season as a pinch hitter for Joe Madden. And in his career, a .247 hitter, 3 pinch hit home runs. Runner goes. Ibar takes a ball on the throw. Not in time.
Upton hit the perfect pitch, a slow curveball. And by the time Molina got the ball, he had no chance. Upton with a running jump at first and a slow curveball. This gave Upton so much time to get to second.
So Upton at second base, nobody out. 1-2 to Ibar. And he wants time and gets it. That stolen base for B.J. Upton is second of this ALDS. And again, Ibar backing out. Strike 3 call. He knew it, and he takes with him the 8th strikeout for Cliff Lee. 1 down in the 7th inning.
Just like in Game 1, the majority of his strikeouts coming looking. And he's got these hitters so confused they don't know what to do, and Ibar can't pull the trigger.
He could not get comfortable. Tried to step out twice, but Cliff Lee continued to try to quick pitch him, and he did, and got him looking.
Kelly Shoppach, the batter, with 1 out, and B.J. Upton in scoring position at second base. And Shoppach takes ball 1. He's grounded out to third base and flied out to center field 0 for 2. Shoppach hits it in the air and pop up to shallow center. Out goes Kinsler, the second baseman, who makes the catch for the second out of the inning. No advance for Upton, and there's 2 down in the 7th.
Well, the great thing is when you watch a Cliff Lee, he's going to frustrate the fans. He's going to frustrate the players. And what happens is, I think, watching this Tampa Bay team, they have just been in between. They don't know whether to be aggressive, whether to take some pitches. The best they've done against him is hit the ball to right field, the right-handed hitters. The ones that have tried to pull have done the same thing that Shoppach has, popped it up in the air.
So 2 down here in the 7th. Upton at second base, and Sean Rodriguez, the batters. Molina hops up and heads out to talk to Lee.
Sometimes as a pitcher, you just want a discussion between your catcher just to slow it down a little bit. You know this is a huge out. You've gotten 2/3 of the way through the inning, and you know that if you can get through this hitter here, you will put your team and yourself in a great chance to win the ball game.
And Rodriguez has had good at-bats in this series against Cliff Lee.
Time called again. Lee was ready to deliver.
Molina wasn't set.
He's giving the defensive signals to the infielders, letting them know what count he's going to throw, what pitch he's going to be calling.
Rodriguez with a swing and a miss. He's got a single and a strikeout in 2 plate appearances against Lee. They're batting here with 2 outs in the 7th inning. Rodriguez with a swing and a miss, 0-2.
Well, Cliff Lee has really changed the way he's used his slow curveball. Tampa Bay didn't have to deal with the slow curveball in game 1, and he has mixed it up dramatically.
That's one of the hardest parts pitching in these series, is that you have to pitch against these guys in such a close period of time that sometimes you have to change your game plan.
Time called again, and Lee was ready to throw again. It's the 3rd or 4th time we've seen this happen to Cliff Lee. He has stopped his delivery every time. Up and away, 1-2. Both pens are busy. And this will be the 100th pitch coming for Cliff Lee of his outing. C.J. Wilson, Darren O'Day. One-two to Rodriguez. It's strike 3. 9th strikeout for Lee. He's through 7. His Rangers have a 3-1 lead at the end of 7. Sports fans, listen to what Cal Ripken, Howie Long, and some of the biggest names in sports have to say about today's hot topics in sports. Check out Behind the Mic, presented by Allstate, exclusively on SI.com. Now, this has been impressive for Cliff Lee, who just picked up his 9th K on his 100th pitch.
And again, a strikeout looking from Cliff Lee. When the hitters at this level are taking pitches, they are set up, and that nervous laughter. And for Cliff Lee, he enjoys his craft, and when he perfects it like he did in that inning, laughter all around.
Now, he's got a lot of weapons to attack the hitters with, and that's why I think he's having so much fun tonight. Everything is clicking for him. And it's a nightmare in the other dugout.
David Price done tonight after 6 innings. Michael Young swings at the first pitch. At third base, a bobble for Longoria, and the throw is not in time. Michael Young will reach on the miscue by Longoria, and it's his 2nd of the series.
Well, Longoria is just not moving well laterally because of that quad injury. There's no question about that. He's one of the best in baseball, and he just never gets his feet in the right position. Ball clanks off his glove. Young runs too well for him to recover in time.
It is the 2nd error charged to the Rays in the game. Catcher Kelly Shopik's throwing error scored the 2nd run. Joaquin Benoit, the new pitcher in the 3rd arm used by the Rays.
63 games in the regular season. He picked up a win in game 3 in Arlington.
He retired all 8 batters he faced in game 3 and game 4. It's Hamilton to swing and miss. Grab at the ribs afterwards, release at the flak jacket, which is underneath the jersey that he wears, and he's kind of been tugging at from time to time.
I don't know if it's a reaction to sore ribs or just trying to get the shirt comfortable.
Probably the equivalent of playing with a knee brace.
Swing and a miss, and it's 0-2. They said that basically he would wear it for the contact aspect of colliding with the wall or diving onto the ground, which we've seen him do. He plays with that reckless abandon style. They thought it would protect the ribs, but they have not been a problem, according to Ron Washington. It's down 0-2. Nobody out in the 8th. Hamilton 0 for 3 in the game. He's grounded out, struck out, and flied out to right. gets away, and it's 1-2.
Joaquin Benoit spent 14 years in the Rangers organization. He had rotator cuff surgery. Tampa Bay took a gamble on him. He came to spring training and they saw the velocity. They didn't see the consistency during the spring, but he went down to the minors and everything came together for him.
Hamilton 2 for 17 in the series, waiting on a 1-2 pitch. It's outside, and it's 2-2.
Benoit's another story about Joe Maddon's staff. They will communicate to their players what they need to work on in the minor leagues to get back to the big leagues. And if they choose to do that, like Jaso, like Benoit, they will be back in the big leagues.
Yeah, Benoit went down with the assignment of just gaining arm strength in the command. And boy, did he come back with confidence.
Hamilton fouls it off. 94 from Benoit.
Hamilton just hasn't gotten a fastball he can do anything with. Rarely do they throw him a good fastball. Slow and slower has been the combination most effective to Hamilton.
And the pitch he had to hit in this game, the hanging curveball, he just missed it.
Hamilton reaching across the plate that time to protect it, fouled it off to the left.
Benoit's got a great changeup. That was that pitch there. Great arm action, and Hamilton just had to do his best to reach for it. When he takes a swing like this, it tells me that the ribs aren't a factor. Watch him reach and extend all the way out of the plate to stay alive in the at-bat.
Michael Young with a short lead at first base, held on by Pena. Hamilton with a swing and a miss, strikes out. High fastball at 94 as Benoit strikes him out for the first out of the 8th.
Well, good fastball here after the changeup, Buck, up in the strike zone. Nice sequence of pitches for Benoit, and we've talked about it. Hamilton having a hard time catching up to the real good fastball upstairs.
Yeah, his timing is off. Obviously, the effects of missing 24 games in September.
2 for 18 in this American League Division Series for the batting champion and could be MVP. Vladimir Guerrero 1 for 3 with a runner at first and one down here in the 8th. Fouled off to the right.
Guerrero having trouble also catching up to the good fastball, but Benoit gets a lot of his outs off the strike zone. One of the best hitters in the history of the game out of the strike zone, Vladimir Guerrero.
And Buck, as you mentioned, Benoit coming off the right rotator cuff surgery, late signing here with the Rays, and he got stronger as the year went on too. After the All-Star break, a 0.65 earned run average, holding opponents to just a 112 batting average. His 0-1, a swing and a miss, and by him again at 95.
Now, just when you think you have Vladdy Guerrero right where you want him, he will jump on a pitch.
As Joe Maddon said, there's no way to pitch to him. Where do you go? We'll find out from Benoit, an 0-2 pitch. Runner goes, and Guerrero fouls it off to the right. That time Young got a start.
Joe Maddon and Vladdy Guerrero were together with the Angels, and we asked Joe to describe Vladdy Guerrero as a hitter. He said he doesn't hit the baseball, he hits at it like it's a piñata, just holding his bat back, and no matter where it is, he attacks it.
Shopik, who blocks it. No advance at first for Young.
You call for a pitch down and away. You have to anticipate it's going to be in the dirt. First thing you think about is going down to your knees and just squaring that ball up in the middle of your body. An extra 90 feet is crucial. Keep that base runner at first.
Joaquin Benoit trying to work his way around an error committed by Longoria at third base to start this inning. Struck out Hamilton. Now ready with a 1-2 to Guerrero. Not tantalizing enough even for Vladimir Guerrero. Guerrero pops it up, foul ground. Shopping to come back as far as he can, but it's into the seats.
One of the most difficult things about pitching against Vladimir Guerrero is that once you get ahead of him, you spend so much time throwing balls so far out of the strike zone that if he does take a few pitches, when you have to come back on the corners, sometimes you can't make that pitch.
Price for 6 innings tonight, giving up 3 runs. Grant Balfour, perfect 1-2-3 7th, and now Joaquin Benoit working in the 8th with 1 out and a runner at first in a battle with Vladimir Guerrero. Guerrero hits it on the ground to short. Bartlett to second for 1, on to first for 2. Inning over. It's on to the last of the 8th. Rangers have a 3-1 lead in Game 5. American League Division Series coverage on TBS is presented by BlackBerry. It's to the last of the 8th inning we go from Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. And time running out on the Rays, who trail 3-1. And Cliff Lee at 100 pitches through 7 innings. We wondered if he'd be back out there for the 8th, and he sure is.
It's amazing how much confidence Ron Washington has, and you can see how effective he's been with his pitches. He's been in the strike zone with his fastball, his cutter, and his curveball. 17 curves tonight, 9 for strikes, and that has really benefited Lee and his fastball.
And to throw 31 out of 38 cutters for strikes is just amazing.
He's quickly got Bartlett in the hole, 0-2. Oliver and O'Day warming in the pen now for the Rangers.
The one thing that's difficult about Cliff Lee, when I was talking about those cutters, he throws them to both sides of the plate, and to be able to find the outside and inside part of the plate with the cutters at that strike rate is amazing.
And that's why the Rays hitters have been caught looking 5 times tonight. They're not really sure which side of the plate to cover.
5 of the 9 strikeouts called strikes. One plate umpire Jeff Kellogg. 0-2 pitch. Bartlett towards left center field. Hamilton on the run will get there and almost overran it. Appeared to catch a cleat in the field turf as he moved over there also, but gets there and makes the catch for the first out in the 8th.
A true center fielder, Josh Hamilton, covers a lot of ground. You can see how that ball was a little bit of a challenge. Might have been a knuckleball as Bartlett hit it right on the nose, but Hamilton can really cover some ground.
1 out in the 8th. Ben Zobrist the batter. And a base hit back in the 3rd inning. A 1-for-3 night for Zobrist. Knocked in a run as he takes strike 1. Remember, this is the inning in which the Rays did the bulk of their damage during the regular season and in the postseason. Here we are in the 8th. Lee's got 1 out.
Including the postseason, the Rays have outscored their opponents 63 runs in the 8th inning. That shows you how effective the back end of their bullpen is. But this team has been so good late in games, but now they might be too far behind Cliff Lee.
Inside 1-2. League Division Series Game 5s in history. Team leading after 7 innings. They are 12-1. Rangers lead here 3-1 with the Rays batting in the last of the 8th with 1 out. 2-2. For Cliff Lee, his season high in pitches is 118. Did that July 27th. Complete game victory against Oakland. He's at 108 right now with 1 out in the 8th. Went around, got briefly away from Molina, who will fire down to first for the out, and it's strikeout number 10 for Cliff Lee.
And with 2 outs, it'll be Carl Crawford, and Crawford has been victimized by Cliff Lee in the cutter. In the 6th inning, the cutter on the outside just misses, but then he comes right back with it and gets the fastball. A cut fastball is fouled off. The curveball for a fly ball, but he goes back and forth with his velocity, his location, and movement.
This Rays crowd trying to get their Rays going in the 8th. 2 outs, bases empty as Carl Crawford takes strike 1. This could be Carl Crawford's last at bat in a Tampa Bay Rays uniform. Crawford to center, Hamilton coming in, he's there, and it's a 1-2-3 8th inning. We head to the 9th in Game 5 of the ALDS with the Rangers on top 3-1. TBS this November, the most anticipated television event since television's last most anticipated television event. Conan premieres November the 8th at 11:10 Central, and it's only on TBS. Now it is the 9th inning in Game 5 of the American League Division Series from Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida, where the Rangers have a 3-1 lead behind their ace. Cliff Lee, pitching for the 2nd time in this series, has given them 8. And a swing and a miss for Nelson Cruz against the new pitcher and closer on for the Rays, and Rafael Soriano.
Well, he has really solidified this bullpen. 45 saves out of 48 opportunities. 27 saves last year for the Braves as he was coming into his own, but he's found his place here.
Cruz down 0-2. 2-hit night for Nelson Cruz. A double in the 4th inning, a single in the 6th. After he struck out back in the 2nd. Soriano is the 4th arm used by Joe Maddon in this game. Their starter David Price, who lost Game 1, is on the hook for Game 5. On the ground up the middle, and by the dive of Bartlett, it's into center field. Nelson Cruz has his 3rd hit of the night. Now the Texas Rangers are looking for their first postseason win ever. Look back at their franchise history. 1961 through 71, the Washington Senators. Then Ted Williams was at the helm, first Rangers manager. As the team moved to Texas in 72, 0 postseason appearances in their first 36 seasons. Their franchise had 3 postseason appearances prior to this year, losing the ALDS to the Yankees in 96, 98, and 99. With Nolan Ryan at the helm now, co-owner and president of this franchise, trying to move on to the American League Championship Series. They are 3 outs away. Ian Kinsler with a swing and a miss.
That's the first time I've ever seen Nolan nervous.
He had no control over what's happening on the field. He was never nervous when he had a baseball in his hand, that's for sure.
Ian Kinsler with 2 hits tonight, a run batted in, both singles. Kinsler in the air to left field. Carl Crawford going back. That is up and it is gone. A 2-run home run for Ian Kinsler. His 3rd home run of the postseason. and the Texas Rangers take a 5-1 lead. They stun Tropicana Field, and it's against their closer, Rafael Soriano.
The Rangers scored the first 3 runs with their base running, but they fall back to power, and Kinsler hits his 3rd home run of the series. He gets a mistake breaking ball from Soriano that stayed on the inner half, and he hammers it. And a little skip to Mailloux down to first.
Now Jeff Francoeur, bad hop to third. Longoria knocks it down, stays with it, but throws in time for the first out of the 9th inning.
Well, Kinsler, one of the best power hitting second basemen you're going to see. Gets a pitch over the middle of the plate, and of course, this Texas bench feeling it.
After not feeling it in games 3 and 4, they're feeling it here in game 5. And for the Rays, the task just came a little bit taller now as they trail by 4 runs at the very least when they come to bat in the last half of the 9th inning. One out in the 9th, and Benji Molina, the batter, down 0-1. This one fouled off to the right, and it's 0-2.
Well, obviously Tampa Bay has a deep hole to dig out of, and the prospects of losing Soriano, Carl Crawford, and Carlos Pena to free agency. I mean, there's some doom and gloom floating around in that dugout right now.
On the ground, tap back to Soriano, who fields and throws. 2 down in the 9th. Well, the road team has never won every game in a postseason series. Rangers took the first 2 here in games 1 and 2. The Rays went to Texas, and in Arlington took 3 and 4. And the Rangers are now 3 outs away from taking game 5 and moving on to the American League Championship Series. 2 outs in the 9th. Mitch Moreland hits a ground ball by the dive of Pena down the right field line. Moreland is thinking 2. He's digging it out of the corner of Zobrist, and Moreland is into second base with a 2-out double. His first hit of the night.
It's a 10th hit for Texas as Moreland pulls it past the diving Carlos Pena, goes all the way down to the right field corner. And this ball club has done a little bit of everything, and they've kind of shown you exactly how diverse their offense is. Kinsler with the homer. They've stolen bases. They've taken advantage of miscues in the field.
2 down, Moreland in scoring position for Elvis Andrus, who has 2 hits and 4 at bats. Pops one up, foul ground, sending Pena into foul ground. Has room and makes the catch that ends the 9th. A 2-run home run for Ian Kinsler has the Rangers 3 outs away from advancing. They lead 5-1 after 8.5 innings. Aerial coverage is provided by Goodyear. When the road throws you a curve, get there on Goodyear Innovation. Some of the Reds fans are ducking out as we head here to the last half of the 9th inning in Game 5 of the American League Division Series. At one time, we had 41,845 a capacity crowd on hand. Rangers 3 outs away from moving on as Evan Longoria leads it off. And we asked at the end of 7 if we'd see Cliff Lee for the 8th. Are you surprised to see him in the 9th now?
No, not because he had such an easy 8th inning. And I think it's ironic, even though he didn't come through the Texas system, that Nolan Ryan wants his pitchers to go deep into games, and maybe they're going to win their first postseason series with their starting pitcher on the mound in the 9th.
Pitch number 113 misses for a ball.
This really also sets them up with C.J. Wilson not having to pitch in this game, and Cliff Lee just starting and finishing this one all by himself. So Wilson can start game 1 against the Yankees.
Cliff Lee threw 104 in the first game at 114 at the moment. His season high was 118. His career high is 124. And 7 times 1-2. 2-2 to Longoria. He has retired the last 6 batters he has faced in a row. And it's Longoria, Pena, and Upton scheduled to bat here in the 9th. Longoria strikes out. It's the 11th strikeout for Lee. 1 down in the 9th inning. One out in the 9th as Carlos Pena makes his way up.
Well, the release of the baseball, trying to go upstairs on Longoria, probably was trying to hit a corner. But you can see how he releases that elbow projected first and then the wrist over.
Now Pena has had no success against Lee in this series. He's not alone in that category. But 0 for 3 tonight with 3 strikeouts as he takes a look at ball 1.
This is why you go out and make a mid-season trade to pick up a caliber pitcher like Cliff Lee, a guy that can set the tone for the entire postseason.
The strike, and it's 1-1.
You have to be close enough for one move to have an impact. And the Rangers certainly felt they were. They played right into September last year with a chance to go to the postseason. Cliff Lee was the final piece to allow them to win their first postseason series.
On the ground with a shift on. It's Young, the third baseman, who collects, and there's 2 down in the 9th. Pena retired, and it's 8 in a row retired by Cliff Lee. And he's 1 out away as B.J. Upton strides to the plate. Tampa Bay Rays won 96 games during the regular season, winning the American League East and down to their last out here in the American League Division Series. Upton pops it up. Left side, Elvis Andrus is backpedaling. He is under it. He puts it away. And the Texas Rangers have won a postseason series for the first time in franchise history and move on to the American League Championship Series to face the New York Yankees.
Nolan Ryan was such a big part of the Rangers' history as a player, now as an owner. Ron Washington, in his 4th season, takes his team into the 2nd round of the postseason. And they did it his way, scoring the first 3 runs of the game with their base running.
In our meeting with him today, he almost sold us, didn't he? He said they were going to be ready to play today, and they were. They just took it to the Rays. Very aggressive. Couple stolen bases. Even Benji Molina had a stolen base. But pitching, defense, and base running wins their first postseason series for the Texas Rangers.
And the battle of the aces won both times by Cliff Lee.
Yeah, a Cy Young Award winner, and he is the guy that has a perfect record in the postseason. Won 4 games for Philadelphia last year in 5 starts and has won his first 2 postseason starts this year.
And his earned run average 1.44 in the postseason. With his work here tonight in securing game 5 strikes out 11 batters.
One thing that sets up very well for Texas now is they will open at home in the ALCS. And C.J. Wilson will be the starting pitcher in game 1. The Yankees down the stretch had a lot of trouble with left-handed starters, and they've had trouble in Texas, just 1-4 this year against the Rangers in Arlington.
Well, the Rangers a down group after dropping games 3 and 4. Take game 5, 5-1, and the 2-run home run by Ian Kinsler taking some of the drama out of the 9th inning, no doubt. Let's go to Mark Fine on the field. Mark.
All right, here with Cliff Lee. And Cliff, this is a franchise that had never won a playoff series. They bring you in to be the final piece. Then they look to you to get 2 victories. How rewarding is this?
It was a lot of fun. I know that much. You know, we had our back against the wall today, and you know, we came out and performed. It was you know, competition at the finest. Game 5 against an unbelievable team, and we were able to pull it off.
Talk about the offense. First they grind it out, then you get the big home run.
Yeah, that was Kinsler's home run right there. Just kind of sealed the deal. You know, it was you know, we scrapped a couple of them away. You know, we you know, hustling on the base pass got us 2 runs there, and you know, Kinsler hitting the home run there in the 9th was kind of a nice cushion to have going out there for the last one for sure.
The guys upstairs noticed they thought you were going to your curveball a little more here. Is that a byproduct of having to face a team so close back to back?
Yeah, I mean, I used it a little bit last time, but it was, you know, I could tell in the bullpen it was going to be a good pitch for me today. It wasn't like I planned it going into it. I just, you know, when I was warming up, I had a feeling it was going to work for me, and carried over into the game.
Up next, the New York Yankees. You've got a little bit of experience with those guys.
Yeah, they're a great team, and they're, you know, that's why they are where they are. You know, so it's going to be a good challenge, just like these guys. I mean, they're very similar teams. You know, they both came down to the wire to win that division. So they're equally skilled, and it's definitely a team. If you mess up out over the plate, they can make you pay. So I got to do my job of keeping the ball down, working ahead in the count, and hopefully they hit it 2 people.
Thanks, Cliff. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, Don, back up to you.
Okay, Mark, thanks very much. Well, 22 out of 33 first pitch strikes for Cliff Lee, and the celebration is on inside the Rangers clubhouse here at Tropicana Field. Let's send it back down to Mark.
All right, yeah, we're here with Josh Hamilton now. Josh, when we talk to your manager about this team, he talks about things like camaraderie and attitude and perseverance. How proud are you of this ball club?
It's unbelievable. I mean, it's something obviously we're proud of because it's never happened in Texas before. So I'm privileged to be a part of this team. Like you said, the chemistry is awesome. We love each other, and hopefully we can take it to the next level.
All right, so often during this season, different situation for you because you were looked on to pick them up offensively. Yeah. They came and picked you up.
Yeah, I mean, you know, all season long when somebody's gone down, somebody stepped in and done their job. And so I expected nothing less come playoff time. My bat wasn't there, but a lot of other guys stepped up and did a great job. So I just kept it in the field, played my defense, and let the guys take over.
Yeah, you got a chance to make a number of good defensive plays on this field, and a lot of them coming with Cliff Lee on the mound. Talk about the job he did.
I tell you what, Cliff Lee, what an asset to the team. You know, coming over to a new team, you don't know what to expect. He fit right in from the time he got here, and is going after everybody when he's been on the mound. So, and he's made our pitching staff better just by being around him, seeing the kind of work he puts in day out, and it's just amazing to watch.
Up next, the New York Yankees. How excited are you for that?
Very excited. You know, we've always lost in the first round to the Yankees, so it's kind of bittersweet we get to the championship American League with us guys.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, Don, back to you.
All right, Mark, thanks very much as the Texas Rangers celebrate their first ever postseason victory, and they get ready for the New York Yankees and the final out. Nerve-wracking for Nolan Ryan and the Rangers organization, but a pop-out. What a great feeling for them.
Well, it had to be, and appropriately another cutter up in the strike zone that got in on the bat of Upton, and the catch by Andrus.
Now then, postseason, it's all about your starting pitching, and Cliff Lee won 2 games in this series. He did it with a combination of pitches, and you can see the elation. Lee and Molina worked very well together in both of these games, and now they will go to the ALCS and take on the Yankees.
What a feeling for Ron Washington as well.
Ron Washington, Jackie Moore. Jackie Moore is 53 years in the big leagues, and he's been the bench coach, and they have suffered through this. Clint Hurdle, his first year as the hitting coach, and Ron Washington, of course, went through a tough time in the spring. His players backed him up. They supported him, and now his players respond and reward Ron Washington.
And they told him in spring training that they were committed to winning their division, and they've delivered and got themselves in the postseason.
Nolan Ryan has changed the complexion of this team, and no doubt about it, they've got a great future ahead of them, and this is the first step.
Yeah, it's good to see Nolan Ryan with his player background in an ownership role, and he turns things over to young John Daniels, the general manager, who really went out and did a lot of things that helped this team. They acquired Cliff Lee. They brought in Benji Molina. They went out and got Jeff Francoeur. They got Jorge Cantu. A lot of guys that helped alleviate the inexperience on this roster, and they came together as a championship club.
The American League Division Series coverage on TBS is presented by BlackBerry. The Texas Rangers have come in here to Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida, and won the American League Division Series and move on to take on the Yankees. Final score, Texas 5, Tampa Bay 1. For Buck Martinez, Ron Darling, Mark Fine, and the rest of the crew, I'm Don Orsillo saying goodbye from St. Petersburg. Friday exclusively on TBS, it's the Yankees taking on the Rangers in Game 1 of the American League Championship Series. Stay tuned for Inside MLB presented by Captain Morgan. Remember to drink responsibly. Now let's send it to Matt Weiner in Atlanta.
Thank you, Don Orsillo. There is a first time for everything, including a postseason series win for the Texas Rangers. Check. They're on the board, finally. And TBS and the ALCS is headed for Texas for Game 1 on Friday night. Yankees and Rangers split their season series. Game 1 happens from Arlington on Friday. Our coverage starts at 7:30 Eastern Time. Game time, 8 o'clock from Texas as the ALCS begins. Our highlights from the Game 5 win coming up next.